Hi. Good to see you again. I feel like it was just yesterday.
Monday.
Yes.
How are
Yes.
you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a good day today.
Yes. I feel like, doesn't it feel like we just talked? Like that Thursday seems like so
it was
close.
2 seconds ago.
I know. That
Literally.
holiday weekend flew by.
Yeah, it did. Actually, I had a great time though. Did you have a good time with your family? It was so good to just like be with my family. It's really grounding for me, like when I get to spend time with them. So what about you?
Yep, same. It was a much needed break from work, much needed time with people I love. So yeah.
It was good times. Well, we're back again.
I'm really excited about our topic today.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting topic. I really do.
So we're going to be talking about which do women prefer, blue collar workers, like blue collar men, or white collar men? I think there's a lot to say about this. So first, like what comes to your mind when you even just hear blue collar and when you hear white collar?
So when I hear blue collar, I hear someone that works in any kind of direct services, like the ones providing the services. And then when I think of white collar, I think of people that are on like the business side of all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like say AT&T. You have the people that work internally on their programming, their security, their sales team, their marketing team, and then you have the people that go out and put up AT&T poles and facilitate wiring and setting people's internet up and all these things. So that's kind of the difference. At least that's what I think.
Yeah. So like manual labor or services, skilled or unskilled, like trades and things like that. Truck driving, all of those types of things fall into that blue collar category. When thinking about which one I personally prefer, I know people always think I ride the fence about things, but I wouldn't say I have like a preference because both blue and white collar can make a very good living. Both can, it just depends on the person, right? I think that in general, if I had to say which would most women prefer, I don't know. I think like on paper, a lot of women would say white collar because they view them as making more money. But I don't know about reality. Like, I feel like in reality, though, things are a little bit different. But I think on paper, like if someone was filling out a survey, they would pick, lawyer, accountant, that type of thing. What do you think?
I think generally because the difference is that people have caps. You know what I'm saying? Like people have actual caps when they work in blue collar jobs versus like white collar jobs. The sky's the limit. If you work in sales, if you work like in upward mobility of the technology, things like that.
I don't know. Blue collar jobs, you can really like make a lot of money with blue collar jobs, depending which one you're into. Like there are some truck drivers, who make a ton of money. There are some like, electricians or plumbers or whatever, different trades people that make a bunch of money. I mean, I think that, I don't know. I don't think the money aspect is really, for me at least, like that wouldn't be the thing that made me, I don't know. But I don't look at people and say, oh, you make this much money, so this is who I'm going to date. So just for me, it wouldn't make a difference. But I don't know. I'm thinking about my friends and people that I know or people that I've seen talking about this online. I think, I don't know, there might be a certain mindset that people have when they think about white collar versus blue collar.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's always a good thing. Like, I think sometimes people look at white collar people as kind of more maybe bougie or stuck up or something. Some people. And like, I've seen women say they like a good blue collar man that works with his hands and does all of this. Yeah.
I don't know. I think like you said, there are blue collar jobs where you can make upwards of 6 figures. You can make a lot of money being a plumber. You can make a lot of money being an electrician. Like if you have your own company, because my mom's boyfriend has her own company and has his own company, and you can make great money doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can make great money on either side. The main thing is like, what are you actually doing every day? So the physical labor, you have to know, takes more toll on your body long term versus doing other things. But people can beg to differ and say, hey, sitting at a desk for 8 hours also isn't good for your physical well-being. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's at the end of the day, on either side, they can make great money. So I don't think it's about the money. I think it's, when it comes to relationships, it's more so about the compatibility of their career with your career, if you have a career. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a housewife or either way, okay. But if like you work in, I don't know, an industry where the hours clash and we can never see each other because you work during the day and I work at night and we never see her, and it doesn't, like, that is a hard marriage. That's a hard marriage.
Yeah, definitely the compatibility in terms of time is very important. I think that one of the major things that a lot of women want is a man who has enough time to spend with them. So, I mean, I think, I'm not sure, but I think that blue collar jobs a lot of the times have like, can have longer hours or more like, they might work the third shift or, things like that. Whereas dating like, I don't know, an accountant or something.
Right.
Yeah, they might have some times where they're doing other things, but generally like 9 to 5.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
That's the times you can go see your accountant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, the compatibility of time is definitely important. I saw a comment, Chicago. Hey, what's up, Chicago? Chicago said that the perception is that white collar men are more refined.
Okay.
But
that's true.
Oh, there we go. The perception is that white collar men are refined.
I believe that.
You
it's
believe
a requirement. It's a requirement to be white collar. You know what I mean? Like,
what do you first define your definition? Tell me what you mean by refined.
Where refined, I mean, the way that you carry yourself, social cues, reading the room, code switching, the press and the pull and negotiation. That's not even negotiation yet. It's just a different way that you're maneuvering yourself to get the job done versus like, I'm a plumber. There's a leak. Fix the leak. Go home. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, versus like if you are, I don't know, managing an account, you work at a firm, you're an attorney and you're managing an account for a huge corporation, and every single day there are all these different things that you have to, fires that you have to put out and things that you have to go do, and you have to go litigate, and they're getting sued over here, and I have to go talk to these people and try to figure out how we can come to, like, it's a lot more in terms of the character that you have to have as a person, I believe, in certain white collar jobs versus certain blue collar jobs. Now, if you own your own business, blue collar is very similar because you're the one dealing with the clients every single day. Like like my mom and our family, you're the one dealing with the clients because it's your business versus like if you worked for a contracting company or a plumbing company, you work for them. You just go do the jobs they tell you to do versus like if you own the company. So I think that there's like you can say that I can say that I think it's only white collar because I think it's like 99%, but there are entrepreneurs that have to be refined as well.
Yeah, I think social, like the way someone moves within social circles and things like that is a huge deal when you're looking for somebody to be compatible with. Especially like if you're really social and you like to be out and do all these things. Like you said, a lot of times people get a lot of that at work. Like if you're at your job and you're constantly talking to people and you know how to, maneuver within any group of people, then it would be easier, for you to handle a variety of social situations. But if you're a plumber or you're a truck driver or you're someone who's not as social during your job, I don't know if that necessarily speaks to how you would be, though, like in a non-work situation. You're on mute. I think you're muted.
Oh. No, like you can be completely different at home than you are at work. And a lot of people, especially in entertainment and white collar jobs are, because in white collar jobs, you have to like not put on a facade, but you have to, I don't even know what it is. You have to code switch a lot. And that's just what has to happen because you're dealing with clients and you can't just be like, well, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're trying to earn the business or you're trying to keep the business or whatever it is. I mean, people call and cancel stuff every single day. I call and cancel T-Mobile 2 months ago. Like, I don't want to work with you guys anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, like, I don't know. I just feel like, when it comes to blue collar jobs though, men that can work with their hands, there is something very sexy about that. Like, I like that. Like a little bit of a rough hand, like not like actual rough, like hand, but like, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know.
I know what you mean. Because some women like that man. Some women like that man in like a uniform type of thing. And some women like that man in a suit and tie type of thing.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I don't know if like I said, I think just on paper, people would say white collar, like a lot of the time just because of the money, And
it's easier.
What do you mean?
It's most of them are 9 to 5 and I don't work.
Oh yeah.
So you have more time to spend with me. We can have date nights. We can go on vacations on the weekend. We can get up and go kinda because we know what the schedule is. But same thing with blue collar, you could say if you like worked for a plumbing company and you can make decent money and you can still do the same thing. But at the same time, it's a little bit different because it's based on services. So most plumbing companies are running all the time. Most electric companies are running all, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that, like government agencies, like shifts can be whenever, I guess, unless you work at the courthouse. But like, say you were a police officer or a firefighter, like it's not a 9 Monday, like this job you could be scheduled to work whenever. Like, at least I think so. Don't quote me on that. But as a firefighter, I mean, firefighters work 24 hours, don't they?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, the thing that, I don't mind. I don't care who anyone prefers. You can prefer a blue collar man, a white collar man. I just don't like when I hear people speaking down on certain professions. It like as if they're not important. Like I would never want, my man to do this or that, or I would never want, my son or daughter to be this or that. And it's just like, think about our economy in this country. Think about just the entire social infrastructure, how capitalism is working, all of these things.
Yeah.
Can we really act like there's a job that's just, I mean, in terms of
But
like blue
let's
collar
be
jobs?
real. There are some jobs that I just don't want my man working. Like, I want him to have
Would you date a
energy.
plumber?
I want him to have energy and time for me. I require attention.
Right. I mean, that's understandable.
And more, and if you can't show me attention, then you need to keep me occupied. And that could cost money. So you got to have something going on. I just feel like it's harder. Like it's too much strain on the relationship when I can't see my partner.
Would you date like a plumber?
I would date him if you had a plumbing company.
So would you date any tradesperson if it wasn't
I've
their
dated
company?
people that work for the United States government, people that work for the DOD, the DOJ. I've dated people that like that, but no, I don't think I would date like a police officer. I wouldn't date anyone that put themselves in harm's way just because I can't take it. I don't want it coming to my door telling me something happened. I can't take it. Even though you could get hurt, your man could get hurt anywhere, right? But you are literally putting yourselves in harm's way daily. That's your job. So I can't take it. I can't, my heart, I can't take it. So, I mean, if he worked like white collar government or something like that, maybe, but I need him to have time and energy.
But would you date a surgeon?
Energy, stamina for me. And if he's been like doing this, like doing things all day, when he get home, he's just gonna want to eat and lay down. And
don't sleep on the blue collars.
I'm not sleeping. I'm just saying, like, from my experience, I've only had one in terms of like a real hands-on blue collar situation, but he was very tired. But I loved it. I actually loved like him in the uniform and everything. I thought it was hot. I loved it. But like I said, it can be strenuous on the relationship.
But would you date a surgeon?
Ooh, that's hard too, because surgeons don't have any time, huh?
Would you date like an attorney, a surgeon?
Are they a name partner?
So I'm just trying to see, like,
I'm just asking because I'm trying to think about the availability of it all. Like, a lot of people talk about money.
Sorry.
No, I mean, go ahead.
Is it mostly about the availability?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. It's about the availability. And just like when you're an entrepreneur, you can even be working, but I can still be with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, versus like if you have to go work for somebody, you have to do that at a specific time, a specific thing. And then it's just kind of like that. But I guess even with government jobs, you have to as well, but your hours are set. So we know what it is. So it's different. I don't know. It's hard.
So if I'm just trying to see.
What?
If the plumber worked 9 to 5, would you date him?
Probably not.
Why?
If he just worked for a plumbing company?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Why? Is it a stigma about, like?
I mean, if I was 23, I would. But I'm not 23. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not.
I'm just trying to see what the baseline thing is. Because, okay, I thought it was the time, but then if we take away the time aspect and we say, okay, the plumber works 9 to 5, cool. And then you still won't date them. Like, what is the thing that makes you say no? Like, are you ashamed? Like, would you feel?
No, it's not even about that. I never have. So I guess I'll just say, I guess you never say never, but never say never. Right?
But what makes you say no?
That's not my go-to. And that's also not the kind of people who like usually seriously approach me, like, or seriously try to like.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of why you said no, Kayla. Because it's not the time.
Because like I said, when you own the company, it's different. You don't have a ceiling. You can make more and more money. And listen, I'm smart and I have a marketing degree. I help other people's companies make money. So I can help my man's company make money. But if you just work for the company, and there's no upward mobility in that job. I mean, you can get a raise every year, kind of, but it's like different if you work for AT&T and you're like a media strategist and you're making like 60K. Like you can apply in the next 2 years to be the assistant lead strategist, which is like 80K, and then you can eventually be the head strategist, which is 100K, and do all that in a 5-year time span. Can you do that as a plumber?
I think some plumbers make a lot of money.
Can you have that kind of upward mobility working for someone else's company?
Just I don't know the trajectory of
but that's what I'm asking. I don't know either.
I hope some plumbers call in and let us know, because
yes, plumbers, let us know. Do you guys have that kind of upward mobility in your field to like climb the ladder and make more and more money and more benefits and like these kind of things that people have in traditional corporate white collar spaces?
I'm pretty sure there's space for economic growth within.
I'm sure. I don't know it. Educate me, Lada.
Hopefully somebody calls. Somebody blue collar.
Somebody call and let us know what y'all do. We want to hear what y'all have to say. We love you guys. I don't know, but I think generally I do want to ask you though, since you are a teacher, would you date someone that was also a teacher?
Yeah.
I would date a teacher. Would you even work in the same school as that person?
What do you mean? Like, would I meet them at school, or
like somebody in your school retires, they hire a new 8th grade teacher. Mm-hmm. It's a nice. You're single, hypothetical. Mm-hmm. Nice looking guy, 36, no kids.
I don't know about dating people that you work with in that. I don't know. I would have to be in that situation to know what I would do, because I mean, I'm not going to sit up and act like, if this is just the perfect man and, I'm single and he's single, I'm just going to be like, no. But I think you have to be really careful dating people that you work with. But
okay, so it's more like a I don't shit where I eat kind of situation.
Yeah, because I mean, you just never know what's gonna happen, and then now you
don't want to jeopardize your job. I get
you're just there every day, and then it's just I mean, now
I was more so saying like if someone did the exact same thing that you do in like income wise and daily, like would that work? But I guess it would, because you guys on the same damn schedule, right?
Yeah. I actually know, well, I did know a couple that worked together at the same school.
Did it work?
Yeah, their relationship's fine.
Oh, that's
there's a lot of stigma around men that are teachers, and probably just teachers in general in terms of salary. But I think that people don't understand, like, teachers don't get paid enough for what we do, but teachers make pretty good money. Like if you're in a big city, or, you're I don't know about like small towns and things like that.
Yeah.
But I do know that Black men are extremely underrepresented in the teaching force.
They are. We need more Black male teachers as well. And female, but more Black male teachers for sure.
There's less than 2% of teachers are Black men. So like, there's just not a lot of Black men that are teachers. There are, I know, several, of course, but just in general, there aren't many.
I wonder how that compares to like sports, because there's a lot of coaches, PE teachers, recreational teachers, things like that, but they don't teach like education. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember growing up, all of the people that were teaching, that were doing track, that were my track coaches, all Black men.
Were they teachers too, or were they just coaches, or were they teachers?
They were just coaches for track. Well, this was like what is it? This was like not USAA. What is it called? What is that? I can't even remember it. Whatever the league is that kids are in that take them to the Junior Olympics. I think it's USAA, but I can't even, it's slipping my mind right now. But yeah, I mean, even basketball or football or any of these things, that's the place that I see Black male teachers, but I don't see them like in
the classroom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, like you said, and like I've always said, we need more Black men in teaching. Because first of all, teachers make more than the average Black man.
Yeah, but why do they say teachers get paid so bad? I mean, I know teachers don't get paid a lot, but do they? I mean, in private schools they do, but like, what are they actually getting paid in regular, like on average?
I would have to Google the average teacher salary, and it depends where you are too. Like some places definitely have higher average salaries than others. I think that the stigma around dating men the stigma about men being teachers, like somehow they're, I don't know, soft or whatever people think about male teachers. I think that everyone needs to just let that go. Male teachers are awesome.
I love male teachers, and I would date a teacher. I would date a teacher. I would prefer a professor.
See, Kayla, now I'm going back to this. I'm going back because you said, now I really, Kayla, nope, you're not going to escape this one. Now I really need to know why you wouldn't date the plumber, because the plumber can very well be making much more than the teacher. And the plumber is not going to be. I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean,
you said you would date a teacher.
Yeah, at Northwestern University.
So you wouldn't date a teacher, like a classroom teacher in K to 12. Now I'm confused, Kayla. Hey, Chicago.
I'm not even trying to troll y'all. I'm being funny, but I'm not being funny either.
Is it a status thing or like because it doesn't seem like a money thing? Chicago, come off mute if you were you just talking?
No, I knew I was on mute. I'm just
it's a status thing. Let's be real.
Now.
It's a little shallow. It's a status thing. Like, I just think a professor sounds better. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so that's what it is. So it's not necessarily about the money or the time. I mean, I know you want the time and you want the money, but yes, in an equal situation, plumber versus how about plumber versus teacher?
Plumber versus teacher? What you choose?
I mean,
plumber versus teacher.
I would not care. I have no issue dating blue collar people. I have no issue dating teachers. I have no issue with that. Like when I'm looking for someone to date, my current man is blue collar.
I mean, to date, this dating thing, I'm looking for some to get married. So this whole dating thing, I'm thinking about how this career is affecting our life in the long term, not dating, but how this kind of man is going to be as a husband with this job, with this career.
See, but you made it about status. So then what does that have to do with that? If they're making the same amount of money.
Teachers turn into professors all the time, don't they?
Because she want to go to the ballet still. She want to go to the orchestra.
But
she want to go to the Philharmonic.
If they're making the same amount of money.
I love the Philharmonic.
and because all professors don't make a bunch of money. Like
there are some professors that don't make money, but I'm not talking about those adjunct. No, I'm talking about like tenure professors.
Okay, professor. Let's say a professor that makes
at Northwestern
because I really got to get to the bottom of this. A professor,
Florida, Oklahoma.
Wait, what about a tenured professor at Morehouse?
Professors at Morehouse make good money.
So a professor that makes $120K versus a plumber that makes $120K. Like, are you automatically picking the professor?
That plumber, I'm telling you, I know a plumber. It's more physical, like there's more physical work he has to do every day and less energy for me when he gets home. I promise you.
Okay, so you just like the way you like.
I'm thinking long term for the marriage. And us spending time and having energy and attention for each other is very important. And that's all I'm saying. It's proven that physical labor, I mean, it's proven like the more physical, like strenuous rather, like that it's different when you like, okay, you do your workout, you burn a good deal of calories per day and you're staying fit versus like you do a physically laborious job daily. And that's how you make your money. That's how you have to make your money.
Yeah, stress and physical stress on your body and mental stress are definitely, Detrimental. Go ahead, Chicago. You've been waiting.
No. I was blazing the trail on the way home. Salute to you, ladies. I love that y'all are like Laverne and Shirley for real. like Thelma and Louise for real, because on some things you guys align, and then on some things you have juxtaposing opinions, and it's just interesting. From an audience perspective, I just think it's interesting to see how both of you guys play out, but it's also interesting to see where y'all form like Voltron. Shout out to the Powerpuff Girls. So because Kayla, what I would ask you when I'm listening to you and you're describing the type of gentleman that you want, and then Kay is pushing back and she's saying, well, you're choosing status, which I don't disagree with. I think you would ultimately choose status over anything else, all things being equal. In terms of the money being equal, I think you would choose the status, because also, okay, with that status, that man is expected. Like, if you think about it, a plumber is expected to behave a certain way, right? Now, I consider myself blue collar. I know for a fact when I go into art shows, I purposely go look just like this, just to stunt, and I'll cop whatever I want, at said art show. But I do this on purpose. But I also know, I'm in a room full of, refined individuals. Who in the hood?
I live next to a. I'm not in the.
Who wants 63rd? Who wants 63rd in Cottage Grove?
It wasn't me.
Kayla.
It wasn't me.
Kayla, you're having the flashbacks of that fire alarm.
Nah, Kayla and Kirkwood talking about she from where you say you from?
Where's Kirkwood?
You know where Kirkwood at. Don't play. You off of Edgewood and Boulevard. Don't play. What part of Atlanta you say you from?
I'm from East Side.
Yeah, what part of the East Side? Oh, don't say it. Don't worry about it.
DeKalb County.
Oh, man, you don't know what Kirkwood is.
DeKalb County forever.
Don't play. I ain't messing with you. You don't know what Kirkwood is. Anyway,
I really don't. That's why I said, where is that?
Here's the thing. I think, and I don't see nothing wrong with it. I think Kayla would absolutely choose a man who has status. And I think Kayla would choose the man even if the money wasn't equal. I still think Kayla,
if he got paid less, you mean?
Yes, less than the plumber.
I think
because here's the crazy thing.
Well, if we align, it makes easier marriage.
Well, how does that align? Because what you're saying is, I need him to spend more time with me. How does that contribute to his purpose? If he's spending more time with you and not necessarily focused on his purpose, how does that?
True.
You understand what I'm saying? True. Like, I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm just asking.
But like I said earlier, even like if you're an entrepreneur, I'm not saying necessarily spend time with me, but I'm able to be involved in a part of whatever it is. Like if you own your own business, even if we're not spending time together, if I'm helping you with something with the business, or you're working remote today, or because we have somebody coming to paint whatever, and we're both working from home today, we can do that. Like we can do whatever we need to do. And I just like being able to do that. That's all I'm saying.
Kayla, you want the Disney marriage?
The Disney marriage is not going to be Disney, because like it just doesn't make sense. There's an 80-20 rule. I've known this since I've been
What's the 80
a little girl.
For people that don't know.
80%. I mean, everybody has flaws. Everybody has baggage. Everybody got issues. Yeah. Everybody got shadow work they still doing. So ultimately, everybody's going to have something that's not going to be 100% perfect. Nobody's 100% perfect. I'm not 100% perfect. I have things. So, but that 80%, that's super solid. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I know it's not going to be perfect. I know he's going to have some stuff or whatever, whatever it could be. Everybody has a past, a childhood, mistakes, whatever has happened to them. And I'll have to, as long as that is baggage that I can deal with. I think that's the mistakes people make, because nobody's perfect. We all know that. But if someone has some baggage that you can't deal with, that you don't know how to mitigate and manage, it's never going to work. But
is that reasonable? Because it sounds, and I'm not getting up here trying to take over y'all platform. I really just wanted to, come and support and offer perspective from a blue collar perspective, but that can also understand my position as a man and understand I'm not that refined dude. I'm not the James Bond type dude. I'm not the, the Idris Elba type dude. I understand my position, and I understand that those white collar guys, they have their position and their place. which is why if you put Kevin Samuels in a room full of blue collar dudes and white collar dudes, he actually would fare very well because we know amongst each other, we know what the order of things are. Okay. But it's interesting for us, you know, to see women talk about their preferences. And I think, I will equally say I also found it interesting that you gave an opinion.
I knew where you were going.
An opinion based on a generalization. I thought that was amazing.
Man, I tried so hard.
I am so proud of you. I know you hated it. I know that the roaches was crawling on your skin to do that. But I'm proud of you because what it does is it gives people insight into your thought process. And then we know you, Kay. We know you don't like speaking for all. Not all. But
nothing's all.
Right. But I think as a general statement, I agree with you. On paper, women would say white collar. But it
sounds better.
But then where does that leave blue collar? I love what I do.
But
I love what I do.
Blue collar men that make great money. Like
I make good money. So I don't listen.
So it's not about the money.
But there you go. I don't make good money. I don't make great money. I make good money though.
See, and this is my only
look at Kayla. Look at Kayla's face.
This is my
going to the
You're always reading into stuff, Rilla. Stop reading into things.
Help me understand.
I didn't even say anything.
Yes, you did. I mean, you said everything with your face.
Hold on, y'all. So the issue, and this is Chicago, I want your opinion on this. The issue that I have when people talk about that's why I kept asking you, Kayla. I'm like, so what is it? What is it about the plumber? What about him? What about the issue that I have sometimes with the views that people have about blue collar versus white collar partners is you can totally pass up somebody who is perfect for you because you are just wanting this title,
judging their career.
And you know what? Because it's not like all white collar relationships are just great. And it's not like all blue collar ones are bad or good. I mean, there are different types of relationships in every socioeconomic status or level. I mean, but I don't know. I don't like I don't know. I think it's detrimental to young women if you kind of are really closed-minded. And I'm not saying that you are, Kayla, but it just made me think about it while we were having that conversation about the plumber. Because I'm like, what if the plumber was
let me tell you something that I would do, right? Like an electrical engineer, someone that does strobe lighting in homes or in commercial buildings.
Or on tours, or
on tours, they do lighting design.
That plays into your creative process.
Broadway plays, they do lighting design, they do sound design.
You see how that led back into.
Wait, are you talking about an electrical engineer, the kind that need to be highly educated and an actual?
But you don't have to go to college to do that, though.
Oh, so you're talking about someone who does
do you
stage lighting?
Can't you just go to trade school? I didn't know that you had to go to college to be.
Well, I thought you meant.
I don't know. Do you?
Chicago, do you know what I'm talking about?
Because I thought she meant
electrical engineer.
You both are making unique distinctions, but Kay, what you missed is how I tied it back into what she's passionate about.
Exactly.
What she's passionate about is theater. She wants to see that Philharmonic, and the takeaway that she gets from that. I don't want to say the layman's term for it, but the electrical engineer for her, the theater electrical engineer, is that she can tie it back into they do make good money. They make good money. However, if we can go to Alvin Ailey, if we can go to Apollo, maybe not Apollo, maybe the Kennedy Center. Or I don't know these places. I just know some of them, right? I'm blue collar. I don't know nothing. I'm, dumb as a box of rocks. I don't know. But
we can go. We're gonna go. I'm gonna take you.
Listen, I'm wide open to everything, man. I'm actually the closest I'm going to see Robert Glasper on the 17th at Cindy Winery. I'm looking forward to that. He is absolutely dope.
Yes.
The thing of it is, Kay, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Kay. One thing that I do get from you, as much as people try and give you a hard time sometimes about you and your man, one thing that I do think that you are is an asset to his plan. And most times when you do talk, when you do tend to open up, and I don't know exactly what he do, but I know you and I have our conversations, and so I know that he's a rugged type dude.
He's a blue collar.
Right. And so, but I do also know, just off our conversations, you're on board with his plan for the most part.
I am. I just think that it's really important. It's really important just in general, for people to look.
But you're blue collar too, though, okay?
Huh?
You're blue collar too. You are blue collar too. So it makes sense.
True.
You appreciate the arts. You appreciate the arts.
Yes, me and Kay will have so much fun at like an art show or like at a.
Oh man, listen.
Yes, I'm an artiste.
Or opera.
Kayla, are you at Art Basel this weekend?
Yes.
See,
I have some clients that are
See, Kay. Super bougie.
What?
I'm just messing with you.
I have clients that are doing shows.
I'm just messing with you.
I was invited, so I'm
just messing with you. Is art? I think Art Beats and Lyrics is there this weekend. Those are blue art Beats and Lyrics. If it's there, you should pull up.
Arts, Beats, and Lyrics. All right.
Art, Beats, and Lyrics. If it's there, you should pull up. If Fahamu Paku has a show there, you should pull up. But back to this, this is the thing. I think a lot of sisters overlook. Blue collar guys. And Kayla, I would also say a lot of sisters in your position who, I get it. We have these buzzwords like in the manosphere, we talk about hypergamy, right? Mm-hmm. And so, Kayla, the average sister is not, doing yacht tours. You know what I'm saying?
Who's doing yacht tours?
Kayla, come on now.
Chicago.
I don't do yacht tours. Those are private.
You did a yacht something. Okay, excuse me. Beg my pardon. You did a yacht something.
I'm just
and the point being is that, in the midst of that, because like even with my girl, she's not so much blue collar. Maybe she's right there on the cusp of white collar. Just I'm thinking about what it is that she do.
Why did you say I was blue collar?
Because of your profession.
Teachers aren't blue collar.
Really?
They work for the city, don't they?
Wait. Hold on. Explain that to me. How are they not blue collar?
Because teachers aren't considered like manual or
they provide a service.
Yeah, but I mean, teachers aren't blue collar.
Well, explain it to me. I don't. Well, listen. I don't want to do that. I want you to explain it to me. Help me out, because most of the teachers that I grew up around, and most of the people that I even know that that I know some people that make good money from teaching, but they definitely don't consider themselves white collar.
Well, I think you're looking at it like, if you make $150K, you're white.
Also, look at status.
I think it's status, because we've established that they can make the same amount of money. It's a status thing, and it's what you're doing with your job and who you kind of report to, and it's also the upward mobility of that position.
Yeah, the reason I'm saying teachers aren't blue collar, I think they're technically this thing called pink collar. I mean, look it up.
Well, what is that?
That's what technically it is, but it's not blue collar, because blue collar, you have to be like doing manual, labor. Teaching is not manual labor.
Well, okay. And I don't want to argue semantics.
Or like truck driving is blue collar, like those types of things. And shout out to all the truck drivers. We need them.
What is that other job that makes a lot of money? It's super blue collar. Welders.
A pink collar?
My friends.
I've never heard of pink collar in my life.
Girl,
let me look it up.
And blue collar is not just hourly. Blue collars can get salary as well.
Yeah, blue collar.
Because I'm looking at the chat, and I've always, and maybe it's me. I mean, because I see a couple people correcting me in the chat. And what I have always established blue collar with, not only is there's a money threshold, but there's also a status threshold. So if we reducing blue collar down to just manual labor, then
don't say reducing down.
Well, I mean, I'm saying in terms of the definition,
because that's not a reduction. We need.
Well, if we're limiting, let me English professor.
No, I'm just saying. I don't like any negative type of.
And I'm not saying that either. I'm blue collar, so I embrace that 1,000%. I'm blue collar.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think what a lot of sisters don't understand is you get who you qualify for as well, right? You get who you qualify for. So a lot of sisters will pass over blue collar in hopes of getting with somebody greater than, and you don't even qualify for that dude.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes they don't qualify for the blue collar dude. Like we can't. I mean, the thing is, how good is this man? Like, I don't think his collar color. I don't think blue or white collar.
I don't think his collar color matters either, but his collar color, depending on if he's an entrepreneur or not, because like I said, when you own the company, it's different than when you work for the company. Okay. Because to own the company, you have to have resources of some sort to invest to start the company. If you want to have a plumbing company, you need to buy equipment. Where you get money to buy equipment? You got to have money to invest. So the blue collar is an indication to me of your background somewhat, because like even thinking about like the people I went to college with, the people I are in my circles, you know what I mean? Like a very small percentage of them are blue collar. You know what I'm saying? Like I do have a couple of friends that are chefs, but they're like, they work at five-star restaurants.
Right. So is that blue collar or pink collar?
That would be pink, because people work for them in their kitchen. And if you've worked in the biz, which I did in college, if you worked in the biz, you know what that is. Head chefs they get paid. They get paid. So
yeah, no, absolutely. So I mean, even if you're not in a 5-star restaurant, they get
those. You know what I mean? So that might be pink collar, because they do be there and they do be working. But
I've
people
never
also
heard of
work
pink
for them,
collar.
so they can kind of pick and choose how much they work. They're usually
a dude could be pink collar.
I think.
Do you think a chef is pink collar?
I think that pink collar is like like nurses, teachers, secretary. I think it's like
pink collar.
Huh?
Who?
Butlers.
I don't even know about nurses though, because a lot of I don't know.
Because who even has butlers anymore?
But I'm saying,
I have no idea.
They're pink color.
They got to be.
We need some clarification. All I know is that I think that's what teachers are considered. I'm not sure who else. I think like
mostly women working. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me go on.
Read it, Chicago.
No, they were just saying that pink collar is reserved for jobs that women traditionally work in. I'm just saying I'm learning something new. I've never heard of pink collar before. I know blue collar. I know blue collar, and I know white collar, and that's how I
just put everything
correct into those particular buckets. Like white collar is clearly defined. I mean, we know exactly who fits into white collar positions. Not only is it economics, but or their finances or whatever. It's education, and it's also status, right? And in their community and access.
It's elitism. A part of it, because you have to understand that a lot of people that are white collar, yes, there are certain roles like electrical engineer, being a coder, being a architect, stuff like that, where you have to, a surgeon, a lawyer, attorney, where you have to have the information. But there are other jobs like in media, in sales, in marketing, in logistics, things like that, where I mean, this is America. Nepotism is like, it's about who you know, and there can be someone way more educated than you, but you can get the job because you know someone that works there and they referred you to the person in HR, and then that person considered your application over the other applications. This is America. Like, that's how it works.
So Kayla, why you wouldn't date a blue collar person again?
I never said that I wouldn't, and I have before. I dated a guy that Yeah, I dated.
Why y'all didn't get married?
Kayla, yeah. I
It just didn't work.
I like messing with Kayla. She's so bougie,
It didn't
man.
work.
You should have went to Spelman.
He had been to prison. It was a lot of different things. And that's why I said your background as well, because there are certain jobs, like in finance, like in sales, like certain jobs where you have to have where you can't have felonies. So, because if you want to be an insurance broker, you can't have no felony. You can't work their job with no felony.
That's a fact.
I don't know. Can you be an attorney with a felony, or are they gonna pull your license?
Well, what's the name? What's my man that just got out? Isaac Wright. Isaac Wright is an attorney.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not an attorney, so I couldn't say.
I think so. You just got to work the system.
Okay, well, I'll take that back.
I think you have to figure it out within the system. But you know, for those that are watching, right, the best bet is not to get that F on your report card.
Yes,
that's the best thing you can do. Don't get that F on your report card.
It just makes everything harder.
Do it.
So that's the other thing when I said you can kind of tell the background, because there are certain roles that you can just never get if you have that F. So that's
gray, pink, and yellow collars. These are collars I've never heard of.
We
only know blue collar and white
collar.
We came prepared to talk about two. I was looking in the chat. Somebody said gray. I'm like, gray. Okay. So I'm gonna have to.
I'm just here to salute my blue collar brothers.
And we salute you guys. We need you. We love you. I love some, in certain uniforms,
Kayla, why they couldn't go to the High Museum of Art with you then? Why you couldn't turn them on to, some fine exhibits?
You know what? I tried that,
and
there was a situation where this particular blue collar person was like that, but there was one other person that I forgot about. But we didn't really date that long, so I didn't really consider it because it wasn't a really full relationship. But he didn't want to. He didn't understand, and I didn't want to try to make him. Like, he didn't appreciate the art. He didn't appreciate certain things. There was just, I can't make you like stuff that I like. Like, if you don't want to go to a ballet, if you don't want to go listen to live music, if you don't want to travel, if you don't want to see new things, try new food, do different things, explore, like, I don't want to be trying to force you. I don't want to force you.
No, you don't have to force us, but you gotta be slick with how you introduce it. Because if we think it's something that we're doing for you, like, for me, I'm not an opera dude, but the first time I really got turned on, like, or put on, not turned on, but put on to like art, I was like, oh, and when somebody broke it down, when they were just like, yo, if you look at the color contrast and then you look at this, and then everybody was drawing different interpretations from, I'm gonna tell you something, man. The dopest thing for me was then, my boo thing that I'm with now, man. The first time I took it to an art show and we walking through, and I'm like, yeah, babe, look at this. Woo, blah, 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 blah. That was a Nina and Darius moment. That was a Nina and Darius moment, brother to the night moment. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you gotta, if you introduce something new to us, you gotta do it in a way where we can understand it. It may take you a couple times to do it. Like, I still don't like sushi, but I'm at least willing to try anything once. Still don't like sushi. I need mine's cooked, so I haven't had it the traditional way. But sometimes you ladies have a way of introducing things to us, and then when we don't get it, here come the shame, here come the insults.
See, and that's where knowing your mate really comes into play. That's so that you can know how to kind of, introduce them to a thing that they might not have usually, done before, or they might not have done before, or might not have even been interested in before. But, you can put them onto stuff and they'll be like, oh, like, if it weren't for you, I would have never like tried this or read this book or done this thing.
That's true. I get that.
But Kayla, what you were saying earlier, some people just, and this is where this is like a character trait. Like, some people just don't care about they don't even care to go along. They don't even care to.
They don't even care to go along.
To try.
They don't even care to go along.
Like they don't even
I
want to
literally
try
have
it.
had the situation. It's had to be a whole argument for this person to come with me somewhere, and it's like, bro, I'm not doing this.
It goes back to what you said though, Kay. See, in that situation, it still goes back to what you said in terms of understanding the person that you're with, and then also understanding if it's not for them, it's not for them. Sometimes they don't want to go see Jasmine Sullivan. Sometimes they don't want to see, no, let me take it back. Sometimes they don't want to see Gretchen Parlato. Sometimes they don't want to see Elian Elias, right? He's a jazz artist. Super dope jazz artist, right? So they don't want to see.
So they're not gonna come to Jazz in the Garden with me? What? That could be a whole weekend.
That's in Miami.
Fun.
That's in Miami.
No, I thought Jazz in the Garden was in Tampa.
I don't know. You know better than me. I don't know. I've only been to
I don't know, but wherever it is, I will go.
But the thing,
and we'll lay our blanket out, and we'll have our picnic basket and our drinks, and we will be.
But here's the thing: when you sometimes when you introduce it to them on a level that they can understand. One of the things that I appreciate about Robert Glasper is that he's quick to talk about the influence of Jay Dilla in his life. What does that do? That draws a whole hip hop crowd in. Now Robert Glasper has been in the Netherlands or what's the big jazz festival overseas, like in them Dutch places or whatever.
Yes, they be having huge ones.
Or is it Montreux? Is that France? Whatever. Montreux, whatever that jazz festival is, he's well received by a particular audience, and he can play to a refined crowd the same as Herbie Hancock, right? But he still maintains, he will show up on that stage looking just like this, right? And so my point is, sometimes you ladies will we'll go with what you're saying. You just got to put it on a palette that we can receive it, right? And then sometimes certain things. I mean, so I'm a different type of beast, though. I'm open. I'm wide open, man.
Yeah, but if he wasn't, like, how should I go about it? If I wanted to take someone
maybe you make it
and not experience, maybe a little from the streets, and I wanted to take them to
maybe you make it a couple things.
How do I go about it?
Maybe you make it a couple things. Maybe you get his best friend and you holler at his girl and say his girl get his best friend involved, and you make it a couple things. Or you start introducing things slowly but surely. So when you cooking, maybe you got some jazz vinyl spinning while you got your Erykah Badu incense burning.
Okay.
You got to set the ambiance, and listen, you women are muses for us. Sometimes you're seductress for us. So you got to, come on, wheel me in.
Okay.
Keep it fresh.
Get it in there.
But see, that at the end of the day, also, men are very, very simple. We're very simple. We're visual creatures. But we got two ears too. So we listen. We pay attention to what y'all say and how y'all say it.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So if you make it a fun excursion, you can broaden a man's palette. Many women have done that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be.
He said that about his wife, Marjorie.
Who did?
Like she just made him see life different, even though he had the money that he had. Like,
who said that?
Steve Harvey. But anyway.
Where did Marjorie learn that from?
It doesn't matter. Do you think Steve cares?
Not at this point. Nah, not at
he
this
don't
point.
give a shit.
Yeah, he's
and they've been together like 15 years or something.
Yeah,
he don't care.
Act like a lady, think like a man. I know. I ain't mad at it.
You know what? Like, I was listening to what y'all were saying, and the whole, like, if somebody wants to, like, Kayla, you want to do certain things, maybe your man might not want to do some of those things. I think that it's really important. And this is something that I had to realize as I got older and everything. You can't make your man into your just everything you do that they're going to like. And I'm not saying that's what you said, but I think that's where friends come into play. Like, there's certain things that my man he's not trying to do. So instead of kind of trying to even coax him.
I mean, like what? Other than going to the hair salon, going to the nail salon, going to.
Hey, can I tell you something? I just thought about this. So when you go back to, here's something real simple. And shout out to Marquise. It's coming top of the year. Me and Jay are just trying to work out the deal points. That's all. here's something slick. And Jedi might agree with this too. So the whole time when Black Panther came up and the dudes was like, yeah, and there was this whole swell of Black pride. I wonder how many women introduced their men to the art from from Benin. Y'all don't remember that whole scene where Killmonger went to the museum and he gave a whole speech on how they stole that. He's like, how you think your people got this?
Yeah.
Brothers was amped up and they was wide open to understanding art. How come none of the women suggested that, hey, maybe we go see this African art exhibit? Or maybe we do a deep dive together on the history of the artifacts from Benin or other, there's plenty of art that's been stole from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I see you looking for the overlaps.
Yeah. I'm segueing.
No, I'm talking about like how to just,
these are the things. These are the things that you can do, you know what I'm saying, to reel your man in.
I agree with you guys. I agree with everyone. I just still think that he has to have somewhat of an open mind.
That's a character thing.
And you feel like you're pulling him, and you feel like you're begging him. Yeah. And it's just, that's not attractive. You know what I'm saying? So someone I want someone to show me stuff.
I agree with you. That's why I got,
to be honest, I'm really not trying to
hey, let me tell you something. I'm itching to get back to
something. I want to learn.
I'm itching to get back to theater. The last, I ain't gonna even lie, this is a god doggone shame. The last really dope play that I saw was Kayla in Atlanta.
Ooh.
Right? Super, super dope. And that was
in Chicago, they were running Hamilton for a while, my friend. You're not gonna see it? I know the issues with the story.
No,
but there were a lot of great Black artists. There were a lot of great Black artists, so it was just good to go support.
And the company I work for, they brought the cast to the United Center and they performed a couple of scenes for us, and I just I don't know.
What's up, Jedi?
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Yeah, I just want to kind of go on topic, or at least one of the points, you were saying, okay, before I got on, it was talking about, well, the person that you want, that, we just can't shift them to be everything we want in terms of like excitement and joy and all that. Because, life is about choices and trade-offs, right? So when you get to the point of talking about blue collar and white collar and what comes with the benefits and sacrifices of both, my question to you, I guess posed to women, is that what are you willing to sacrifice for in terms of a sustainable lifestyle for a blue collar or white collar person, just to stay in topic?
Do you want to go first, Kayla?
What am I really willing to sacrifice?
Like for
right, and I'm glad you started first.
Okay. For the blue collar, I will be willing to sacrifice the energy that he may or may not have after doing whatever this job requires. Right. I think that's about it. On the white collar side, I would be willing to sacrifice like attention in terms of even when you work for a company, you work 9 to 5, if you work in certain roles, you still have to pick up your phone all the time. You still have to be on your phone all the time. You still have to be connected. So I would sacrifice in terms of that. You may not always be paying attention to me, and like, we may be in a moment and you get a phone call and I have to just be like, yeah, go ahead, take it. You know what I mean? You have to, that comes with this job. You know what I'm saying? So those would be the sacrifices I would make on those two.
Well, okay, because on my point, like my father, even though he's a pastor, he's been over 25 years working after when he retired from the Navy, he worked as a pipe fitter, a supervisor at a shipyard. He's doing that for about almost 20 years now. But since then, I knew that just what came with that being the only child, but also him coming home. My mother did not work at all ever since before I went to college and stuff. But I knew the point of the men. When he drove back home, he stood in his car for like maybe about 20, 30 minutes, whatever, just there in silence. And I know when he came in, he was just, physically exhausted. I saw that for years, but it put in my head that men have to go to work. But I saw when I question I'm asking you, because that a lot of women in terms of want this type of lifestyle that, okay, well, comes with the benefits of blue collar, white collar, because you said that the energy you will sacrifice for blue collar, but wouldn't you say the energy that also be this the same answer for white collar as well? Not just the intention, you know.
That's a hard question because there's so many different, and when we just talked about the pink collar and what that is and what jobs qualify as that, it's hard to say because some jobs that I'm thinking in my head are blue collar could be pink or these other colors. So I don't know. What do you think, Kay? I have no idea.
I hope I'm asking the question directly.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you have to ask it a different way.
I was just about to clarify or get some clarity. So when you first asked, I thought you meant you were asking like, what are women is willing to sacrifice for this surgeon that makes $600,000 a year? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice to have that man? Was that what you were asking?
That was the first question. Yeah.
Okay. I think that if you're looking for a man that, is of, makes a ton of money and like is really busy in terms of their work, like if they're a high status, attorney, or if they're a, excuse me, or if they're a surgeon or, whatever they are, that's like really busy. You have to be willing to sacrifice their time and attention, or else like, how is that going to work? And I'm not saying that you can't get time and attention from these people, but you have to know, like, maybe they're on call. Maybe they have to leave in the middle of y'all's dinner or whatever. Maybe they have to, be gone on Christmas or whatever. Like, I think that that's something that you have to take into consideration, because I think a lot of times some women want a man who works hard and makes a good amount of money, but then they also want them there all the time. Like, you can't have it both ways, as often as people would like. So,
well, because the reason why I asked that is because it's like, I hear what your answer that you're giving me, but I don't want, and I'm not, it's not really a, trying to jab you or anything like that. It's actually just trying to open your perspective, because I actually don't think what the weight comes with of a wife being that, in terms of like, you actually know what you're asking for. That's why I'm asking, posing a question to you. You said, "Well, yeah, I'll sacrifice the attention," but really, are you prepared for that?
I've done it. So whatever it is that he does, there's gonna come with some sacrifices. It doesn't, unless he's just balling and he don't have to do nothing all day. He could just do whatever he wants. Like, come on. So everyone's job is gonna have something that you're gonna have to sacrifice. You have to just decide what can work for you, what can't work for you. 80-20. Remember that?
We're gonna try to get.
But just to answer someone's question in the comments, yes, I've dated a registered nurse. I've dated a nurse who had to run a whole nursing department. Actually, very demanding job.
Ow.
So, yes.
All right, Chicago and Jedi. We're gonna circulate y'all out of here.
Peace, family. Salute,
no,
ladies.
thank you all for calling in.
Thanks,
always. Good show, ladies.
Problem.
Thank you.
Peace, y'all.
Bye, Jedi. All right, let's add just another.
But Jedi talking about, before we go on to the next caller, Jedi talking about his dad working at a shipyard kind of made me think of like the essentialness that blue collar workers have to our whole existence.
Oh yeah.
And even the issues that we're dealing with the supply chain. Like, we need all the blue. I love y'all. We need y'all.
Yeah, that's why.
If I could tip some of y'all, I would. Like, just like in service. You know what I mean? People that deliver packages, people that facilitate food deliver. Whatever. Like, we need people to do those things and run shipyards and get our resources around from wherever they come from and things like that. And so we see now with the pandemic, the issues that have arisen with that in the whole supply chain. And when it comes to the understaffing of a lot of blue collar jobs where there aren't enough people, and we need more people. So I ever want to, always want to encourage people. The good thing about blue collar, like I said, the money can be equivalent to white collar. If you're willing to put the time and energy into it, go get that trade, get that license, that whatever it is that you need to do it, and do it. Because, if you really stick at it, you can do very well in like 80% of blue collar jobs as well.
Yeah, there will be no negative talk about blue collar people.
No, there'll be no
absolutely
negative.
Needed, 100%. Like, yeah. Just another Zoe. Is that how I say it? Just another Zoe.
You
just
can just
another Zoe.
Zoe is fine. Zoe's fine.
Zoe.
I'm just Zoe. I'm just another Zoe.
Okay, just Zoe.
All right, but how y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I didn't have a question for real. I just kind of wanted to say my opinion on the topic. Specifically, I don't think that women choose. Like, okay, I'll put it this way. Matter of fact, let me not say what women do or whatever. I ain't trying to get burned alive. I would say women do like blue collar attitude, but they also like white collar status. So it's like there's things that women like from both, but it's like it depends on, because women are adaptive socially, that what it is that they're presented with, that what they're going to appeal to, and then what it is that they're attracted to is gonna, is gonna change. Like you can't predict a woman literally. So to say that it's one or the other, I would choose, if you like were to put me in a corner, I would say white collar, just from my own personal experience. Anytime that I'm out, that I'm dressed up, that I'm suited up and whatever, I know the type of attraction that I'm getting, the type of eyes I'm getting. When I'm blue collar is different. Blue collar for me, I'm military / I'm an aircraft electrician for the Air Force and the Air Guard right now. Mm-hmm. So with that being the case, like anywhere I'm at in uniform, if there's women there, I already know that I'm getting, looked at. And me, I'm keeping it professional, obviously. I'm not gonna, act a certain type of way in my uniform. Or am I?
I was about to say, or are you?
Nah, I know the certain looks I get in uniform and the type of respect I get, and then from being entrepreneurial and having a certain type of white collar status where I do have to wear my suit, I do have to look a certain way. If I hit a brunch right after that, then I know what time it is. I know I can expect to be not necessarily like harassed by women, but to know that I'm going to
expect to get more attention.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I believe.
Why is that so? Why is that?
Part of it is just me. I'm not even going to try and toot my own horn.
You did.
You've been tooting your horn this whole time, but
no. Here's why I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Here's why I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm trying to draw from personal experience. That's really what it is. Okay. But at the same time, the point I'm trying to make is that women are socially adept. Socially adept is the word. So with that being the case, y'all understand intangibles. So y'all I don't pay attention to how confident I am when I walk into a room, but y'all do. Y'all peep it right away. I don't pay attention to how my charisma, my posture, my these things that I might be subconsciously understanding, but women are doing as a part of it's routine for y'all. Whereas for me, it's I have to make it conscious for me to react to it. So because of that being the case, it's going to be that that sense of understanding that makes the decision for women. For example, let's say I was a bartender or an oyster shucker, it's happy hour and we all out to get oysters or something like that. The oyster shucker, there's something about that. I was about to say motherfucker. Something about that guy.
You go ahead and say it.
Oh my gosh.
I think out loud.
Okay, all right.
There's something about him
and then you
shucking the oysters that a woman's gonna look at and be like, he's working right now, and is gonna be attracted to that. Even if she's not going to show it, it's still that I don't want to call it sexual tension, but that attraction is going to be there, right? Okay. So that's it's going to be that. And the white collar,
yes, sir.
Well, we're gonna try to get to some more callers, but thank you very much for your calling in and giving your opinion on the matter. And you were tooting your horn like a lot. I know you said
It's
you
a big
weren't going
horn.
to do it. You said you weren't going to do it, and you kept doing it. That was hilarious. But it's all good.
So funny.
All right.
You can toot your own horn.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for calling. That was funny.
That was funny. Yeah.
The tooting the horn part, I was dying inside laughing.
Right. Don't mean to toot my own horn. Hey, Perry.
How's it going?
What's up?
Nothing much. I just want to point out something real quick. So Kayla, I do think your standpoint is interesting because I really didn't feel like it was about money. It seemed like it was just more so status related. And I can't say I have an issue with that because status does link you to the lifestyle that you'd like to have. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's when we're in a certain circle, that's how you stay in that circle or move up in that circle. But I did want to just say from personal experience, there is a lot of misconception though with women about the type of jobs that men do in terms blue collar, white collar has this strictly money connotation for some reason. And, you know, there are people that someone somewhere is working for, you know, Charmin toilet tissue, right? Making 175,000, but there's just a connotation. Oh, that's toilet tissue. You know, it's just, but what I really want to know from you all, do you get that feeling from ladies in general that it just really is the lawyer over the, you know, typical blue collar line worker, regardless of money? I mean, from a woman's perspective, can you all gather that same thing? Because as a man, that's how I've kind of always felt.
I think that for some women, like if you just say a lawyer and a plumber, right?
Right.
I think a lot of women would say, ooh, the lawyer, you know, if everything else is equal. But I think that people don't realize that there are tons of white collar people who are not making a lot of money. They go to their 9 to 5s and they make, you know, maybe average salary or less, depending on what they're doing. So I think that, like you said earlier, the whole like connotation of these job titles is what makes people say, ooh, the lawyer, or oh, the whoever, the accountant or whatever. But I think that
it's the connotation.
It's just the mindset that some people have. That's why I think that even if you are a woman that's looking for someone who makes a certain amount of money, you can't just be like, ooh, they're a lawyer, they must be making 6 figures. There's tons of lawyers who don't make 6 figures.
There's public defenders that are broke.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. You just gotta.
But at the same time, Kay, depending, I do think that the status thing is what makes somewhat of the difference, because it's just like, even with the holidays coming up, if your man is a lawyer at a pretty good firm, right? He's making 6 figures, or your man was a plumber and he owned a plumbing company, he's making pretty good money. The holiday parties that are about to come in, we're attending different types of parties, period.
Yeah.
We're attending different types of events, period. We're being invited to different, that is just how it is. So with everything being equal, status is the only thing that kind of changed it, because there are plumbers making 100K just like lawyers making 100K. But I guarantee you, unless you are the personal plumber for, what is even the situation? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
personal plumber.
Or you're like the resident plumber for a huge condo complex, and they happen to want to include all the staff.
See,
right.
but
even the contractors, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has, I don't know, stars have to align or something.
See, but that's where like the person's character comes in. Like, I wouldn't use their job as the thing that made me pick. It would have to be like, who is this person? How well do we get along? Excuse me. How well do we get along? You know, do we have a good time together? Do they have common beliefs with, like, I mean, I just don't.
Common beliefs though?
Huh? No, I'm saying common beliefs.
Imagine if you are a lawyer, an attorney, and you bring your blue collar, didn't go to college, not really refined man to the party. think about the kind of conversation that's going to take place with your VP, with the people around that work at your firm. Like, think about it. You know what I'm saying?
That's a real
like,
thing too. It really is.
I get that.
He can't be that kind of man and turn it on and cold switch, because he could. But just like generally, you know?
I get that. But like, again, like when picking a mate, I don't know. Maybe if you're someone that's very much in the public eye and, you know, you're going to these places and doing these things. But I think for like regular people, even regular people like on the higher end of the, you know, upper middle class, maybe, you know, I think that if you're looking at someone and you're thinking about how they're going to appeal to people at a holiday party as one of your dating like criteria, I mean, for me, that would never be the first thing on my mind. It would be like, how do we actually interact and how do we get along? I don't care what anybody thinks at the holiday party, but I don't know. I get it. And Kayla, I think that
I thought that too when I was dating that blue collar guy. I did. And then
did you just say I thought
like that? And I was like, why did I do this? I should have never did this.
All right, Perry, closing thoughts, because we're going to get some more callers.
Absolutely. One last thing I was going to say, you can actually use content creation as a kind of barometer. And I say that because we've had new classes now, right? We're still stuck on white collar, blue collar, obviously, but
right.
Think about some of these content creators that we've never really seen them in a blue collar or white collar light, but they've got a fortune. And and some of them make more than Kevin Samuels, more than the lead attorney with all he's done,
a lot more.
Some of right. So when you look at it, it's not that easy.
There's playing video games that make.
There are kids opening up toys on YouTube, making
8.9 million a year. Yeah. So I just was going to say, at the end of the day, it still is the content of somebody inside. I mean, if you don't get that right, nothing else really matters. But thanks, ladies. Have a good evening.
Thank you for calling.
Thanks, Perry.
Take care.
All right. Did I say it wrong? My bad. Hello.
Oh.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Just Jay and Yella. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
How y'all
Good evening, ladies. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, I thought there was like a delay with the sound.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a little bit of delay with Just Jay, but I don't know. Want to say something?
Yeah, say something.
You're muted.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes. It was kind of like a delay at first. No, it's fine.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a signal, but it's like kind of, for me, it sounds a little like.
All right, I'm going to let him go and I'm going to try to fix it.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it quick. My comment or so is kind of directed towards Kayla. Just a couple things. One, I noticed that you cringe every time you hear the word blue collar. Like it'd be something.
I was being funny earlier. I really was being funny.
No, I mean, no, I get it. But even when my man's Perry just left, he was like, you know what I'm saying? It's about the content. I mean, them eyes went from here all the way over there. I mean, but it's cool though. It's cool. So I kind of wanted to ask, what's more important to you? Is it the man or the status?
It's obviously the man. Ultimately, at the end of the day, that's who you're laying down with. It's the man.
Okay, but I've seen a lot of your mindset and a lot of the decisions that you say you made based on men was kind of dealing with their status, kind of like referring to the last dude you said you took him to the job function or whatever, and you didn't really go into what he did. You kind of just made it seem like because he was blue collar, that just kind of, you know what I'm saying, automatically, like they judged him. Did they judge him based on just solely his career, or was he in there with his pants down and, you know what I'm saying, acting crazy and stuff like that? Because that's two different things.
So I don't like to share so much, but no, just in terms of like, he was dressed great. Just in terms of like the conversation that I overheard him having, let's just leave it at that.
So, like, was he talking about the bears and bulls, but not the stock market bears and bulls? Like, he was talking about some normal stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
like sports and stuff.
Okay, I mean,
like not even that, but like he also couldn't say a lot because he also didn't know a lot. Like when you're new in a situation, you're not going to come in and start demanding the conversation. You just get in where you fit in, and the conversation is about, you know, the market. If it's about dividends and that's what they're talking about, then and you don't have the knowledge to contribute to that, or you think you do because you saw something on Acorns, and then you say something that's not, I don't know. Like, I'm really honestly not trying to be judgmental, but you represent me.
Right.
Like, you represent me. So that's all I'm saying. Like, I want someone that's going to teach me. And if I'm teaching you, it's harder. Like, I want to know more about the market. I want to know more about, you know, we were talking about African artifacts and theater and electrical engineering and solar energy. And like, I want someone to teach me these things. And I get what you're saying. Like, you can share with your mate and you can expose them to that. But like, I want to be exposed.
You want to be exposed. It's not a
I already
learning.
feel like I know a lot and I've seen a lot and I've been a lot of places. So it would be more bit beneficial to me. Like, I want to know more. I want to learn another language. You know, like we supposed to be trying to do better every day. We have only so many days.
Yeah, it don't sound like the blue collar man got a learning curve with you though. It's more like you know what I'm saying? It really don't think.
That's why
I mean, I'm just saying.
I said, like, is somebody like a chef blue collar? Because I want to know from your opinion, like, is someone that's like a chef, the lead chef at Houston's or Cheesecake Factory, or
the lead chef anywhere is going to be a mixture. It might be white collar by like who they're associated with. But if you work in the kitchen, I don't care what level you are, you blue collar, because that it's
even
tough.
The ones that come out and say, "So this evening we're going to be having," they go over your plate, they go over.
Even yeah, more than likely because his
chef so and so, like those are still blue collars.
In a sense, because if they're in the kitchen, like if they're like most chefs, I mean, once you get to a certain point where you like Salt Bay or you know what I'm saying, Gordon Ramsay or something, you a brand, you ain't in the kitchen. But if you got your restaurant, your one restaurant, but your one restaurant just happen to be 5 stars and you that type of chef on that level, you still blue collar because you still getting it out the mud. You in the kitchen, you putting your hands in them dishes and you making it. You know what I mean? And anything you do with your hands, unless it's surgery or something like that, but any type of thing you create like that with your hands, yeah, that's definitely blue collar or some sense of blue collar. So you even might still be dealing with that dude, and he might have the presentation.
I love that.
Right.
Dope. That's amazing.
Right. So he'll have the presentation of the white collar dude, but in what he does is blue collar. And one more thing, I heard y'all talk about plumbers too, man. I'm from Illinois. The top end for a plumber is $87,000.
I know that. I told y'all my mom's man is a plumber, and he's from Chicago, actually. So it's funny that you said that.
And they're good with clearing out pipes. So stop sleeping on them, like for real.
They're very good. And not only can do that, a lot of them have general contracting experience too. They can build stuff. 9
times out of 10 they own their own company. And 9 times out of 10 that they on that level, they own their own company.
Yeah, which he does. Yep, and he does all kinds of stuff. And it's send the invoice out.
All right. Well, look, I ain't gonna hold up too much time. Thanks you very much, ladies. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night.
All right.
Hey, Jess.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. My child won't let me be great. But that's how it goes when you have kids. Okay, so this conversation, I feel like a lot of it is subjective, right? And it depends on compatibility. You know, at the end of the day, you have to find out what works for you because everyone doesn't have the same needs, right? Like some people don't have a need to be up under their partners. Some people can go without, you know what I'm saying, having a certain level of connectedness on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? and then some might need to connect. So it's about understanding where you fit in with your person. I've dated a bouncer, I've dated an attorney, I've dated different kind of people. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter. It depends on compatibility because you're well rounded, right? Now I have to say this, Kayla. I am trying so hard with you, girl. Like you be wearing me out. Like you be wearing me out. You are well traveled, right? You are well versed. But there is going to take a level of personal inflection for you to get outside of that box because even though you have been a lot of places, you're still kind of narrow, but you're young. You feel me? And it's okay.
Oh,
I
thank you.
have learned personally that it is more important for me to know what I don't want. You feel me? Like we go through life always talking about I want this, I want that, I want 5 years later, sis, it might not
All
be the
different.
situation. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's about knowing what you don't want. You know what I'm saying? For
Mm-hmm.
me, at the end of the day, like what's attractive, what's sexy to me is a man who know how to keep his word. He's
Mm-hmm.
gonna pop off in the street. He ain't gonna throw me the fuck in the way and run and
Mm-hmm.
scream. You feel me? Like it's things like that. So I've seen white collar dudes. You know what I'm saying? You know, the attorney I used to date, he put in 3 hours at the gym. You feel me? So he has a way to.
3
No, this is what I'm telling you, sis.
a day?
These white collar people are crazy. I'm joking with y'all though, right? But I've noticed that white collar people have to expend more mental energy, right? So if you're the type of person that likes to be up under your partner all day, they're not gonna want to do that, sis. Like they really not gonna want to be bothered. They're gonna be stressed out. So how am I speaking Chinese, right? Because just the Don says it's about what was the word? Social class.
Social class. Mm-hmm.
He said it was about dating within your social class. It matters, but ultimately, do you want a partner that have integrity? Do you want a partner that you're compatible with? Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
all these valuables and no values out here. A lot
But
of
why
this,
can't we have both? Why can't a guy that likes to go to museums and go to art shows and go to jazz festivals, why can't he have integrity just like the guy who
no,
just
he
likes to go to
can.
baseball games?
He
You know what I'm
can,
saying?
but
Like
why can't the plumber have the same thing, right?
he can.
But the look on your face says something different.
Just Jay.
No, he can. He
Just
can. I
Jay.
told you. As long like
The look on your
I
face
told
says
you.
something different.
Just
No, like
Jay.
plumbers can make good money, but
I was girl. Because Kayla, I
I'm
was
telling you, I
just
know for a
about to
fact
say
plumbers make good money. So it's
no,
not
but
about the money.
not even the money aspect, but just Jay, you brought up something, and I don't. Maybe this is where you were going with that, but I was thinking the same thing. Like, let's not act like. And I think it was Yella who was on, and we were kind of talking about it when Kayla was talking about the situation, like at Christmas parties and things like that. We cannot put out a narrative that blue collar workers just are not cultured and don't like art and aren't into things. There are plenty of blue collar workers who are into all of those things, just
They
as
are
there are
well
plenty.
rounded. And
Yeah,
think about it, Kayla. A lot of these truckers are well traveled. Most of them have been to all states. They come across people from all different walks of life. And so to me, I find that attractive because they know how to move. They know how to finesse in and out. You feel me? Like some people are so white collar to they don't know how to get in where they fit in, right? Like
No
I'm a
street
person
smart.
that is book smart and I'm street smart.
Yeah,
Like
a little
you
bit of
want
both.
to have a nice mixture and a balance that complements you. You know, like I get
Yeah.
it. See, but like Kayla says, since I'm up here, girl, you are too gorgeous. You are too fucking chocolate to be acting so stank.
What? When am I acting stank?
You always act stank, and you
No,
work my nerves.
tell me, give me an example. Because how can I identify said behavior?
Babe, you condescending, right?
how can I identify said behavior?
Okay, so remember when she said plumber, your face said ill. Like you didn't say it verbally, but your face said a lot. Like it was really condescending. And I wonder, right? Because we all have our biases, right? Like, I'm not even on front, but like, this is a part of human nature, right? But it's important for us to be mindful. Why did I respond the way I responded? Why? Like, I was waiting for you to articulate why you didn't want a plumber, right?
Mhm.
That's
And
when I was grilling her. I was like,
so
why? Why?
you
Well,
really didn't give
I
it to
said when
me.
I first said it that it was kind of
You
superficial and that it
you
was
was
status
trying,
based.
right? So if you're a superficial person, I need you to live in your truth, babe, because it
No,
makes you
no,
come off
I'm not fully. I'm
disingenuous.
just comfortable where I'm at, and I would like someone to be where I'm at. That's all I'm saying. I usually date people that um are in my same circles or work at like where I work
Right.
or partner you know. So
Which
that's
is
all I'm saying.
understandable.
It's just easier.
Right. So that's what I meant by it is important for us to know what we don't want. Right. See, because you articulated that in a way that helps me understand without it seeming like you're demeaning plumbers, right? Which I know that wasn't your intention. I know.
I would never, like I said, my
I know
stepdad
that
is a
wasn't your
plumber. I would
intention, but
never.
it comes off. You feel me? And
Okay.
it's subjective
Okay. I can
because
understand
everybody
that.
might not feel that way. So I'm not gonna speak for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's important to know what you don't want. So you know you want people that understand your lingo, whatever field it is that you work in, right? Because like people in the music industry, they tend to date people in those same circles because they do run around in the same circles. So I understand that, right? But there's no one better than the other. Without truckers,
Of
y'all
course
ain't
not.
getting that fancy champagne that y'all sipping
Yeah,
on. You
that's
know
what
what
we
I'm
were.
saying?
Yeah,
So everybody got their
much
place.
needed.
And without these white collars, people's taxes ain't getting filed properly. You understand? A
That's true.
plumber, many plumbers have their own LLCs. You know
Yeah,
what
you
I'm
do.
saying? So I just
Mhm.
want us to get, I mean, boxes, labels, they matter, but at the same time, they don't matter if we gonna like focus on values. But
Mhm.
society is like kind of pushing towards just value goals. I'm more esoteric, so that's why I be trying to weave in and out the conversation because these things are important.
Yeah.
Just like Anton, he's very analytical, he's very anal. He works my nerves, but he has his place. You feel me? Like everybody's not built the same, and it's cool,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know. So
Everybody
anyway,
is
I just want to
necessary
put
and
in my
needed.
2 cents.
Yep.
I've done mostly blue collar work, like massage therapist, been to culinary school, I've been
And
a
I have
CEO,
too.
you
I don't want
know.
y'all to think that I think that I'm above any. I was worked in the restaurant industry for 4 years.
What kind of
So,
restaurant?
and I dated a
What
chef.
kind of
So
restaurant?
Let's like get a
I
final thought so we can, because it's a bunch of people building up
No
down
worries.
here.
I chat all the time, so
Yeah,
listen.
I
I ain't got no
appreciate you for
specific
sure.
we
thing. I
appreciate you
just want to
calling
say
in.
that it's important to
Thanks,
embrace
girl.
everybody.
Yes.
It
See y'all
is.
later. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you, Just Jay.
Bye.
She's absolutely correct. It is
Yes.
important to embrace like to,
She is. And maybe
the importance.
I was being funny. I was trying to be funny, but I guess people are like taking me serious. Like, but whatever. What up, Jay?
Hi,
Slade?
Jay.
What's going on, ladies? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, nicely
your
got
microphone sounds really good.
little studio situation going
Right.
on over here. Okay.
All right.
So
So
many.
yeah,
Let's try to keep it like 2 to 3 minutes. Let's try to keep them short because there's a lot of callers.
okay. Real quick, I just want to say, okay, between blue and white, right? I think most of us kind of figured out the difference between blue and white, but I'll say things like the arts are separate from blue and white collar. I think just because
They
of
are.
how the nature of the work. Now, going specifically into kind of the topics, arts and entertainment, those are all kind of separate from blue and white collar,
Mhm.
right? And people can Google that. But going specifically in the topic, I think I'll say it like this. Kayla, I actually understand exactly what you mean. Probably where people are missing. I think people want to be with somebody who's going to match where they are at. And as far as women, I think they want someone who's going to look good on their shoulder and be better than them. So when you say good on your shoulder, when I say good on your shoulder, if you're at the company luncheon, right, and you're with a certain class of folk or a certain people of a certain mindset, then yes, coming in the with the plumber, it doesn't look. It's not that you're looking down on them, but if everybody there has a certain certain mindset. You want to bring someone who's going to reflect you, because that's also your coworkers and the people you with are going to look at you like, oh wow, okay, this is your significant other. They're going to judge you. So there's some back and forth there. And as someone who's kind of like a high profile executive, I understand. I was with somebody at one point in time who I couldn't be, which I was totally fine with them and our relationship, but I couldn't bring them to the company luncheon because they just weren't well rounded. And it wasn't that they were dumb or stupid. It's just there's different kind of conversations that you have there, and it's okay to say that that's true. It's not that you're looking down on the other person. It's just a matter of fact. So I totally get where you're coming from. What I will add too is a lot of times women, I'll say, they don't understand kind of a lot of times what they're asking for between blue and white collar. So a lot of women, they'll say, okay, I want a white collar guy and I want him to be this type of profession or do this type of work. But that white collar profession, that white collar hustle, it's a long, slow grind. And a lot of times it may not be physically exhausting like that plumber, but it's mentally exhausting. It's a lot of hours at the office. It's a lot of rubbing elbows. It's a lot,
Always on your
you know,
phone, always
always
going to
on your
these
phone.
events. Gotta
Exactly.
connect with somebody. Gotta get in good with these
There you
people.
go.
Trust
And then
me,
the
come home
downside,
tired. Woo, and you ain't even did
exactly.
nothing.
And the downside is some of the things that you say, like you want someone who can go to this and do that. A lot of time they don't have time for that. A lot of time they're spending 12, 14 hours, at that white collar grind. They don't have time to go to the ballet. They don't have time to do this. They don't have time to do that, especially if they're working on their way up, right?
Sure.
When they get to the top, it may be different, but if they're that mid manager, they're not going to have that kind of time. They're probably working 24/7. They're a salary person, so they're on call. They're this, that, and the third. So a lot of times, what has been in my experience, women, they want that, but then when they get that and they see you don't have time for this, or you don't have time for family, then it's like, man, I'm lonely. Why, then then that wandering eye goes because they're not getting the attention they need. But see, this is what you wanted. But then they, if they get someone with a blue collar person who's got more time, because a blue collar guy, he's going to do his time and he's coming home. But a lot of time he's physically exhausted, but he may have more time for that. But again, he's not someone maybe that you can't, you can take here or take there. And it's not because, we look down on him because he's dumb or stupid. No. It's just those aren't his group of folks. And as someone who's an engineer, and I work with blue collar guys, because as an electrical engineer, I'm the white collar guy, but I work with electricians and they're the blue collars. We work together. We know what it is. We understand what side of the table each other sits on, and we can exist in the same area, workplaces. But, after 5 o'clock happy hour, we're probably hitting different happy hour spots, So that's all I wanted
More than
to
likely.
add on the topic.
Thanks,
and
Jay.
Thank you guys for having me.
Really good, Jay. Thanks. He made some really good points.
Yeah, I think he did too. I don't know. I'm kind of having a problem with how there's this narrative though about blue collar people just not being well-rounded and white collar people automatically being well-rounded. Like, I think
it's not automatic, but when you are required to go to college or go to university or something like that, you are required to learn a lot more than you would if you went to a 6-week trade to get a license.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like the life skills, the social skills, all the things that you are required to learn at a university, working in teams and doing all these things. And you have to do a portfolio and like do a business plan. And like you even if that's not your major, like your first couple of years, you're just learning general life things.
Hey,
hi. Is that what you guys did in university? Because they just drank a lot at mine. So.
No, I mean, I took it.
He's like, I was not there getting well-rounded.
No, I was gonna say, I think like what he said, the last guy, was
Jay.
true. Jay. I don't know if he has a channel or something. I haven't seen his stuff. But I think what he was saying is true, just about like the like different like circles almost you run in. But I've noticed that a lot more like people are going into the trades nowadays just because they make more money, and even like super educated people. Like I've seen people that like went to college go back to school and become like an electrician because they just make more money that way.
I guess I've seen. I don't know. Have I seen that?
I don't know.
See,
I can't speak to it personally.
bachelor's degrees are kind of becoming less valuable at this point. So I think like just Pearly, is that kind of what you're into? Like people come out and they don't get a job making much?
Because I was an economics major in school, and so I did my thesis on like the economic bubble of like college degrees. And so just like in the next 10 years, we're going to see like colleges start to shut down and like people going more and more towards the trades, just because like the value of a degree isn't what it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago. So I have seen like a decent amount of guys like I went to school with like go back into the trades because they can make more money there. But I'm only 25, so that's like probably like a newer thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of younger people are doing that.
Yeah, younger.
And I just think I'm all about people going to college, getting degrees, you know, and whatnot. Also getting trades, whatever. But if you're going to go to college, you have to make sure you have a plan for what you are going to do with that degree. Because I think a lot of times people, you know, especially people probably between the ages of 25 and 40 kind of just went to college like, oh, I just have to go get a degree. And then they come out and there's no job specifically for that degree. And like you just said, they end up having to go do something else. So it's like, you know.
Do you guys use your major?
My undergrad major is psychology and my master's is in teaching, and I'm a teacher. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I never used mine economics. Like I don't use it.
Well, I used it in the early part of my career, but not in the last few years. So there's been things are changing, especially when it comes to like entrepreneurship. You can make money online doing all types of things, drop shipping. Like there's so many things that you can do where you don't even need a trade. So it's just the way of the world. Like things are constantly changing. Remember people used to work in factories. They don't do that anymore. Not many, unless it's like an Amazon shipping center or something like that. Like everything's automated. So as time goes on, like things will just continue to change.
And you saw the certification program at Google?
Tell me.
Oh, I thought
I thought she was gonna tell me.
No. It was a question. Like I didn't know. If you
okay. No, I don't know it.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something too.
Tell me.
No, Google said it's like a $500 certification that they're gonna accept that as the same like level of qualifications as a college degree. At like there's like major tech companies that are accepting that at the same level for $500.
I think I saw someone post about that on Facebook. Yeah.
What?
And the thing is, people in tech, oh my gosh. All my friends that make like stupid amounts of money at a young age are in tech. Oh my gosh. Like I have a friend who graduated with me and she's making $90,000 like in San Francisco, which is like crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, you're what, 25, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The trajectory is looking very good for her.
Wait, so I was a little late. Kayla, did you say that you like wouldn't want to date a blue collar worker or
no? Okay. I think
I was late, so I don't know.
It's getting misconstrued because ultimately it is about the person. But for me, when I say that, I mean that. So if you're a blue collar worker, but you're just as refined, you can code switch, you like art, you like culture, you like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm fine with that. But I just don't see that as often as I see that with more white collar and entrepreneurs is all I'm saying. But if you have that, I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just looking at the ratio of options.
No, I worked with as like marketing at like a plumbing place for a while, and I'd agree. I wouldn't see like anyone talk about art like on the job. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but like from the experience I've had, like I didn't really see that often.
Yeah. I mean, probably not. Probably talking about sports or
Girls.
women.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
So you never know. You never know. But yeah, I'm definitely open to it. If someone is in the same mind space as me and wants to learn and explore and gain more information and become more cultured and do, like, I'm fine with it. I really am, but I just find that being in the white collar environments, I'm able to find more people like that more often.
Is that like necessary, do you think, for a relationship to have someone that has those same interests?
It makes it easier, is all I'll say, for like a long term, because you have to think about, once we've been doing this for a while, once we live together, once we've been having sex with each other for like 5 years now, like we have to have some mutual interests outside of like those things. Like we got to both be excited about something else.
I mean, you got to have some mutual interest, but again, you have to have, and I know you have friends, but I'm just saying friends are really important in the health of a relationship.
Right.
Because then you can go, like, let's say my man doesn't like ice skating or something, like I can call up my ice skating friends and then we can go do that. And I have to feel like I'm dragging him along to something that he just absolutely does not want to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have a strong opinion either way. I was just curious. Because I guess my parents have a lot of common interests. So like they both like outdoorsy stuff, like hiking.
Yeah. So
that didn't pass on to me,
interest,
but
important.
Yeah, definitely important to have some common interest at least. That's usually
have a lot, to be honest. Then we don't have to do a push and a pull because we both want to go do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lot less stuff to compromise on because we both like this.
How are you guys in like a relationship now?
I am.
Do you spend like every weekend with? You're married, right?
No, I'm not married yet.
Okay. Like your boyfriend then? Do you guys spend like every weekend together?
No.
Okay, so you guys have your own. I was just curious because I've like the longest relationship I've had is like a year, so I'm just curious if like most people spend like every weekend together or.
I mean, there are some weekends where we'll spend a few weekends in a row, but then sometimes he'll go do something with his friends or sometimes I'll do something. Like it's just, there's no rule, but yeah. Sayla.
What? Sayla, are you on mute?
What should we call you? Pearly? Just Pearly?
Oh, you can call me Pearl. That's my
name.
Pearl.
The way that you talk is so like I'm always expecting you to say something after what you just said. So I'm like, and then you just be like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes, it's really funny.
So there's like this awkward silence, and I'm like, oh man, I thought she was about to say something.
No, usually I do. I don't know. I was like debating calling in because it's kind of late here, so I was like, but
it's all good. We appreciate you coming.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, thanks for having me on. This was fun.
No problem.
I'm glad I finally got to meet you.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm glad. Thanks.
Come back next week.
Okay.
Hey, Sayla. Sayla. Oh. Okay, let me
mute it up. Unmute.
I don't think Sayla's muted.
She's okay.
Austin, off script, you are muted.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I don't think Sayla's muted, but
Austin, my man, what's up?
Not much. So my thing is this, right? When you talked about one of the statements you made earlier, Kayla, you kind of said that you don't see blue collar men attending things like art galleries and that kind of thing. And to the question, do women prefer blue collar or white collar men? They don't prefer either. They prefer a man with the right amount of money. The profession, what I've understood is typically the profession is not as important as the dollar amount when you really get into it. I don't think, right? When you really ask most women in today's society, I mean, you talk about high value, all this kind of stuff. Most women just want a man that makes a certain dollar amount and that they know for the most part can pay the bills of the house or the bills in a relationship. What you will typically find though, and to be honest, when you look at blue collar, women want, and they should look for, in my opinion, what is his debt to income ratio? Now, most men, you have to spend quite a few $1,000s to get a degree, a bachelor's degree. Most bachelor's degree earners typically make between 37 and 40 grand, somewhere between that, right? Versus a blue collar quote unquote guy, it costs like $300 to get licensed as a plumber. The average salary of a plumber is $42,000 to $50,000. Which one of those men has the better outlook, right? Which one of those men has the better income management, so to speak, or even initial income management? It's the blue collar guy. He made the smaller, cheaper initial investment, getting the certification. He has to renew it every year, but the upside for his upswing, it's much better than because most men, especially, and women as well, who go to college, what do they carry? They carry this thing called student loan debt. So when you really think about it, that white collar title, that's what we got to stop focusing on. Stop focusing on the title of his job. Look at what he's, the tithing, because his income is now tied to various other things, and now you want it to also be tied to you. You want him to pay his student loan bills. You want him to pay for the bills of the house. So what the hell? Where's the extra money that he's going to have for the vacations and the fun stuff in the relationship? You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
And that would be what I would that's how I would look at it. I think women just want a man that has the right dollar amount, in my humble opinion.
Well, thank you for that perspective.
I mean, that's a certain level to it. Women want to know that they're secure, protection and security. Women want that. So I agree with that. I mean, to a certain level.
Right. But I don't think that I think that it just in our general society, we place so much importance on the title that it can cause a lot of, because let's be honest, when women want to be able to brag on what their man does. It sounds better to say my man is the CEO or he's the vice president versus, oh, my man is a plumber. Just
I understand the whole status thing. I get that status is like attractive to some people. It's like if everything is the same and it's like a person with status and a person without it, I completely understand. Like I would pick the person with status if every single other thing was exactly the same. Right. But just in general, I don't think that, I don't know, that whole dollar amount. I mean, yeah, if you ask somebody like, what do you want? They're going to say, oh, a millionaire or whatever. Fine. But like in reality, I think that a lot of people really do care about the person that they're trying to date, whether it be the chemistry that they have with that person or whether it be just that person's character and whatnot. I mean, there are some like hardcore, you know what, if he's not making this, I'm not dating people.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like most people.
Well, I'm saying in a generalistic sense, obviously, of course, I agree. Character is key in a lot at the end of the day, because you can hear a lot of women say this. It doesn't matter how much money he's making. It does come down to how he treated you, right? What is his, because manhood, right? Manhood is essentially defined. I would define it as, what is a man's character like? If your character is absolute trash bags, then you can replace, you can manipulate a woman with all of the diamonds, all of the jewelry, all of the what have you, but it's the emotional thing. I mean, it's Dr. King gave a speech several years ago. He basically said a man can buy his wife all the mink coats on the planet, but if he ain't buying the bread for his children, does he really love them? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's really kind of what it's about. But at the end of the day, I think that we still have to put, I mean, we have to, a lot of people, you mentioned it, right? The status. We have to pull. I've met, and you also kind of talked about, the collegiate thing. That typically, you said typically people that have gone to college are more well-studied, more well-versed than those that, may have gotten the certification. Okay. I have seen far more idiotic people from college than I've met more well-read plumbers. I've met more well-read real estate agents, more well-read quote unquote blue-collar workers than I have.
Real estate agents are not blue-collar workers.
Well, but they're not college graduates. Some of them are not college graduates. I was licensed at real estate.
You're right. Some of them are not. Right. But that industry in general, sales, in terms of you're selling real estate, I just don't see that as blue collar. Like you're selling, what you sell is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right, what you sell, but your
Right.
certification.
Austin,
But your
let's get last thoughts because we got a bunch of
oh
people.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I forgot we have so many callers, but I do
last thoughts.
appreciate you coming.
Absolutely, yeah, I love the show. But
Thank
last thoughts,
you.
I would just say I use that comparison because the cost for a real estate agent certification is only $100 more than that of a plumber. But
So
that's
the initial investment, right?
Yep, initial investment about the same. But you guys, I love the show, so I'm just going to keep listening.
Thank
Thanks
you
so much, Dr. Julio. See you.
Absolutely.
Sayla, what's up?
Can you hear us?
No, I don't hear anything. I mean, I don't hear.
Yeah, I think
Dang.
I know.
Why does this keep happening? We'll keep trying. I guess we'll pull up the next person and we'll keep trying for you, Sayla. What's up, sir?
Hi, sir.
K.A. and Kayla, what's happening? Good to see y'all. I
How
watch
are
you
you?
guys on Lapeef all the time, and you guys stress me out. But it's really good to see y'all in this space talking like this.
Keep your blood
Thank
pressure.
you. Thank you.
So I wanted to bring up something. So to answer the question, do women prefer blue collar or white collar? I've been both. So when I met my wife, been married for 15 years. We're going on 15 years. Got married to her when I was 19. And I used to work at Toys R Us when that was a thing, right? And so I've gone from that to I earn some substantial now because I'm in technology. And so I had my GED and then ended up getting 3 professional technology certifications, and it boosted everything, right? So you go from 19,000 to over 6 figures, clearly over 6 figures. What I've learned from being with my wife for all these years is that I think that it's not so much about the white collar and blue collar. I think that's just the way we classify people's mindsets. We assume that if you're a white collar, you have a certain thought pattern, a certain level of ambition, right? That you're open to grow more. And I think that's what it is. So even though I'm dressed like this now, I like to dress up, and since that is my thing. But I think from my perspective, women are attracted to a man's mindset. They want to know that they are secure in his earning potential, and they want to see a man who is ambitious. I don't know what it is about ambition, but it is something, I'm 34 now, that I've realized that women respond to a man with ambition. And I've known this because I've noticed a different response to my wife. I study so much, y'all. Like, I'm up all night, every night working because I'm trying to get it. My goal, I want to be a millionaire before I'm 40. That's a goal. It's a standard of living. And with that ambition,
you will.
Please appreciate that. And I notice I get a different response out of her. I get all the love and the softness, but the biggest thing for her is she feels safe. And so that's one part. To Kayla, I say to you, I know you get like a lot of flack, and sometimes I give you that in the comments as well, because I'd be like this, and you too, Kay, I'd be like, they thinking it's off the chain. But here's something, the flip side of that is that our community needs women like you, women who are at least willing to push people to grow and think differently. Like I said, I've been on both sides where I couldn't be part of the conversation at a corporate event. But what did I do? I got books. I hung around people who were in that sphere, and I asked them, coach me, train me, tell me how to walk in these circles. Like, what's the conversation like? And one of the big things you learn is just find common ground. And if you can find common ground, then knowing when to speak and knowing when to shut up makes you come off as intelligent. And learning how to do those things, you can win in any social circle. So I just wanted to say that. Kayla, keep on being who you are. Keep on being smart and intelligent. Like I said, it's bright and shiny. And men who are ambitious, who want to be something, will see that, and that level of sophistication you have where people think that is bougie. It's just more life experience, and that comes off a little bit more. And the same thing with UK. I think we oftentimes see you on the Lapeef Network, and we'd be like, Lord, give us some Everclear because it's too much. But I think what it is,
not Everclear, that horribleness.
I think what it is though is
I can feel it going down.
A lot of our women are sharp, and so stay sharp. But I do think that we got to change how we think about blue collar people. Like, let's stop making people who are blue collar feel like there's something less, because it's about having ambition, having integrity, and it's not even about the money. Right? It's about mindset, and it's about integrity. So shout out to my blue collar workers. Shout out to my white collar workers. Keep on being great. Okay, Kayla, love what y'all doing. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for coming on tonight. Amazing.
Hi, guys.
There you go.
Oh, yes. Hi, ladies. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm so sorry about my.
No problem.
I'm not the most tech savvy. Can you tell I'm blue collar?
It's okay.
Don't say that.
I do have struggles with this, but I'm sorry I missed most of the conversation. I kind of came home late. Just wanted to I just want to just add to this. I kind of agree with you, Kayla. Sometimes it's all about comfort. So, I'm from a blue collar place. My brothers are blue collar. My friends, my family, people I grew up with are very blue collar. And there is a bit of a cultural difference. So I completely understand. I kind of struggled when I went to a big liberal metropolitan city. There were things that were just very different. Lights, the traffic, the cars, the people. So I get it. There's some cultural differences. But I prefer blue collar, maybe because I grew up around blue collar and that's all I know.
Mhm.
But I know that the men that I grew up with, the boys and men that I grew up with, are very, very successful financially. They're very cultured as well. I know there's this perception that blue collar is like illiterate, kind of redneck, kind of rough. And there are some stereotypes about people in big cities as well. So it's all around. But I agree with you with the whole plumber thing. I'm not that attracted to that trade myself. But I think you guys would be interested in blue collar guys. I think they're pretty straightforward, pretty friendly, and very successful.
Yeah, blue collar.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We said that. Yeah, definitely said that earlier. You know, men in certain uniforms are definitely hot. Definitely giving me, So.
Yeah, I think it's really depends on the city that you go to or the state that you live in. I really think there's some big geographical differences wherever you go. So maybe that could be one of those reasons.
Definitely. The South is different than the North. And
yes. Yeah, that's
the West Coast. Blue collar is very different in those like New York,
exactly.
Miami, LA. Totally different in them,
Especially in the big cities, blue collars in the big cities compared to blue collars in smaller towns and cities. So,
because it's based on, if you work for the city anyway, it's based on tax dollars. And obviously the tax dollars in New York City are better than like Durham, North Carolina, something like that. You know what
something like that, yeah. So I didn't catch the whole conversation, but I just wanted to add in just because I grew up very blue collar, but I would feel the same way about white collar men. Slightly intimidated, slightly, not intimidated, but just might not have a lot of things to connect with. So, yeah. Before I let you guys go, I just wanted to tell you that I've been watching you ladies now for about 2 months. And you guys have switched me over to your side, I have to say. Yes. You have.
Yes.
You have. We may not have like similar like world views or way of ideologies or perspectives, but I just feel like you guys are a lot. I'm gonna try to be diplomatic. Women are more diplomatic than men, so I just feel like there's you open my eyes up to some issues, some clear issues going on with the men. Just want to say that. And so I feel like I'm going to keep this to blue collar. I don't know if it's white collar men are a little bit more arrogant or entitled or have an air of superiority, or I don't know. Just saying, I've just had a switch perspective. So I just want to say that to you guys. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share.
Thank you for calling in, Sayla. We appreciate it.
Thanks, love.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Bye.
you.
Bye. Janae.
Hey, Janae. What's up?
Hi. So I just wanted to say, first of all, Kayla, like, I love how honest you were. I feel like people are eating you up in the comments just because you said you like a white collar guy. But it's totally fine because I like that you're honest, and I feel like but I have a question. If you were to meet somebody like in a coffee shop and he was just beautiful and gorgeous and you guys got along and you guys had so much in common and he liked art, but then you found out he was a plumber, like, how would you feel about that?
That's what I was trying to ask earlier.
Remember, I told you I would be fine. Okay, how old is he? How old are we talking? Is he like 45 or is he like
35
30?
years old, but he's like super handsome.
But he's 35 and he doesn't own the company. He just is the plumber.
Kayla, now you know she just said that he works there. He's trying to make him into the owner so bad.
Why can't he be the owner?
I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying. Like,
if he has plumbing services, why does he need to work for anybody else? He can create his own company and get his own contracts to do plumbing.
So what would you do in the situation she just presented?
I would give him a chance. I would give him a chance.
Kayla,
I would definitely give him a chance. You said he was gorgeous too. Like that warrants at least like, and he's kind and sweet, and we like have the same interests. Like, why would I not go on a date with him? Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna go on a date.
Yeah, of course. I feel like these questions are like such a trap sometimes because it's like you like look at it and you're like, okay, well, white collar, blue collar. It's the same if you were to ask a guy, like, would you rather marry someone who's 120 pounds or 160 pounds? Or like the girl who's 160 pounds could be like a much better girl, but like most guys are gonna say 120 pounds because that's like their ideal. But it's like you never know until you meet them.
You gotta get to know people. You gotta
But at the end of the day, I'm open to making friends and networking, whatever. So no matter what you do, I'm willing to make a connection. That doesn't mean it's gonna be a love connection. But if it is, then who knows? Like earlier, I was just giving my general preferences, like based on the general statistics of it all. But obviously, if there's an anomaly and there's just like this super fine, gorgeous plumber, like
why is that an anomaly? See, this is what I'm talking about.
Why is that an anomaly?
There are tons of.
Why is that an anomaly? She said super gorgeous. She didn't say like, oh, he was cute. She didn't say, oh, he's handsome.
There are plenty of like super gorgeous.
She said super gorgeous.
I don't know.
I don't know. In my mind, like something popped in my mind that I'm thinking like.
Certain careers also are like very attractive. Like if your man is getting up and putting on a suit every day, it's like, oh, you know, like there's something like very attractive about it. And so like as women, when we think, I know not every girl thinks about like their ideal guy, but it's like sometimes when you think about your ideal guy, you're thinking of a certain guy. So it's like I totally get where you're coming from.
Some girl's ideal guy is in uniform. You know, like that is her fantasy, to date a guy in the Air Force with his decorated vest and I don't know, deputy whatever. I don't know. But like, you know what I mean? Like that is so hot to her. So I feel like whatever people's preference is, like, that's great. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, everyone can definitely have their preference. You know, I just have something to say when people like, I just don't like the narrative about blue collar people. And I know that there is one about white collar people too. Like people think they're maybe bougie or they might think they're so like unattainable or pretentious or whatever, which is also wrong. I mean, there are tons of down to earth white collar people. There are tons of like, you know, I don't know. I just think we got to let go of those stereotypes about people based on their job. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, you just never know.
You never know.
I know, but you never know is one of those anomalies. Like I'm speaking generally, like, and I'm not talking about first career or getting out in the world, getting your feet wet, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about like grown man, been in this career for 10 years. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're still just a general plumber. I'm wondering, like the guy was saying earlier, I'm wondering like, where's the ambition? Like, what are you trying to do here? Like, what is the end goal with this? Like, you just plan to just be a general plumber forever and just, that retirement not going to be good. Like that's not going to be, they don't even do pensions at half these companies anymore, unless you work for the government. So it's kind of like that retirement doesn't seem, Social Security is not going to be around when we are old. What is the plan? Like, what's the plan? Like
on that note, thank you for calling in, Janae. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Janae. Great points.
Definitely.
You guys.
All right. How do let's see. Let's bring definite.
Who else we got tonight?
Definite G. Hi, you're on mute.
How you ladies doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Hey.
Doing good, doing good. So I'm kind of confused. Are you talking about relationships with blue collar and white collar, or the difference between blue collar and white collar workers? Well, what's going on here?
The original question was kind of like, what do women prefer? Like to date?
Okay. Well, that's it's gonna, just like what you said, Kay, it's gonna be about, the person. And women, for what I know, they like, stability mostly. So they go for stability. So whether blue collar or white collar is going to be down to the person and how he interacts with her, and if she likes him or not. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're looking for more, if you're looking for more consistency, at least income wise, blue collar, because they usually have lifelong customers. Like an engineer would be working on a person's car ever since they were 16. But with white collar, it's like their income is very volatile when it comes to making millions of dollars one year and then flopping the next, kind of goes up and down. The scale is like movable.
It depends on the job.
Can you go into that more? What job is that you're
He might be thinking of like a stock, somebody in the maybe a hedge fund. I don't know. Are you talking about like those types of jobs?
But even a hedge fund guy, he's smart enough to not have all his money in one basket. He's not going to go broke overnight. That would be.
I'm just trying to think of jobs where you go up and down like that.
Yeah, like what white collar jobs do they go other than maybe like people that work in like real estate? Market goes up and down, or people that work in a mortgage broker or something like that. You know what I mean? Stuff that's directly based on the market. But what other white collar jobs like are fluctuating like that?
Sales, because it's really dependent on sales.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's really, you got to focus, because when sales, it's focused on the next customer, not necessarily the customer right in front of you. Once you get him or her out the way, sign the papers, good, next one. So you got to keep going. And depending on the year, depending on the season, you might not get as many sales that, year. So it's really dependent on the timing and what they're doing at that time. So yeah.
That's true, because I work in sales and I can tell you that in the summertime, not in the summertime, but the summertime is a slow season for Florida because Florida's a seasonal place and everybody leaves there in the summer because it's hot everywhere. So they ain't got to be here anymore. So I definitely can identify with that. And even quarterly per our numbers, we expect it to go down in the summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, it's really on conditions with white collar, but with blue collar, as long as you build that relationship with the customer, they'll be there with you forever. So
yeah, and a lot of those jobs sustain regardless of what's going on with the economy. Yeah, you made some good points. Thank you for
good points. Yeah,
thank you.
No problem.
Thanks so much for coming by tonight.
All right, bye, Definite G.
Definite G. That's a cool name.
DJ.
DJ who? DJ. Ricky, get your roll on. Shameen.
Hey, how y'all doing tonight? Kayla, Kay, what's going on?
Hi, Shameen.
Hey.
So for the topic today, I do have a couple of takes on this. I've seen both sides of this. I've worked in white collar jobs. I haven't really worked blue collar too much. The closest would probably be when I was in the Army as a mechanic. Other than that, since I was about 25, I've worked more white collar positions. I worked in software companies, marketing, things like that. So I was a sales professional for a cybersecurity company, for a fintech company. And then before I got into insurance, I was doing SEO consulting for an SEO agency. So I was definitely solidly white collar. I would say that women prefer white collar because of the image. Like white collar has more of a connotation of prestige and class. It sounds more fancy. Like if I tell somebody I'm a business development rep for a top software company, they'll sound impressed, even though really I'm just, at the end of the day, it's more like sales at the end of the day. I'm just like calling people and emailing people all day, but they sound impressed. But I work now in insurance claims, which my job now is not really blue collar or white collar, but it doesn't sound prestigious at all, but I make more than I've ever made. I feel like women, though, they want that guy in the suit. They want the fancy guy. They want to say that my guy works for this company. Like they don't want the plumber. They don't want the electrician. Forget about like the stability talk. I don't really think it's about that. Though, as far as the stability goes, if you're a white collar worker, you're on a salary. That's pretty stable for the most part as well.
Benefits.
Though I feel like there's a connotation of more earning potential in white collar when really it's the opposite that's true. Because the average white collar worker probably is not making six figures, in my opinion. Now, if
the average worker is not making six.
Yeah, I was about to say the average worker in general is not making it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the average,
I would say in many ways your income or your earning power can be higher if you're blue collar because you might not have gone into a bunch of debt. So if you join the workforce at an earlier age and you never had to go into debt, you can save money, you can invest, you can buy property much younger. So you're kind of starting off at somewhat of an advantage. I've written a couple articles on social mobility and like when it comes to higher education and how it can sometimes hold people back. But I would say that the connotation is for white collar, which I don't necessarily agree with, but that's just my take on it.
Actually, you had a point because white collar does require a level of climbing the ladder that definitely takes longer than just getting a certification. And like even in real estate, most realtors close their first house in a year versus like it could take you 5 years or 3 years or something like that in the corporate world to like start seeing a significant, not even a raise to like be considered for the next role and then the next role and then the next role and going up from there. But do you think that overall, who do you think has the highest ceiling, not highest ceiling, but like who do you think has the most earning potential long term? Like is inflation going up on plumbing where it's like 10 years from now the cost to get your plumbing fixed is going to be so much different? You know what I'm
I would
saying?
actually
Versus
say
like if you were in an entry level role, then now you're in a senior management role.
I would say as far as long-term earning power, that the blue collar people have it better because some of the things that they're dealing with is like the foundations of society. Like plumbing is not going to go away anytime soon.
Never. Yeah.
People are going to always need to get their cars fixed. They're going to need electricity. They're going to need water in their homes. In fact, as we're seeing with this supply chain shortage and COVID and lockdowns, if anything, we're seeing how much critical infrastructure even matters.
Exactly.
Versus white collar, that can kind of ebb and flow. Like I said, I worked in software and online marketing and stuff like that, so that's what my experience is. I mean, I got laid off from my job in 2019. I was working for a software company. We got acquired by a competitor. We got sold for $500 million. A month later, they laid most of us off. Company changed its name, and that was that. Though thankfully, because I was in a career, you can move around within a career and get a new job. But, stability can go either way. I would say as far as starting your own business, because I've also done freelance work and thought about running my own agency when it comes to marketing and SEO. You can make a lot of money if you're an agency owner, but you can also make a lot of money running your own, small business as a plumber, electrician, or blue collar worker, mechanic. When I
You
lived
can
in
make a
LA,
lot of money.
you know, I know my mechanic told me his story about how he started his own shop after working as a mechanic at BMW. And then eventually now he's making over $1 million a year. Though I also have an SEO consultant buddy who started his own agency and is also making over $1 million a year. So once you get to that top level, it's kind of hard to say. Both do have their pros and cons. But I would say in some ways, I think if you really look at it from a realistic perspective, I would say that the blue collar workers have an advantage only because it's a inelastic demand. Like the demand for critical infrastructure is not going to necessarily go away, no matter what level of society we reach. Whereas with white collar things, it can, depending on exactly which industry,
ebb
it
and
can
flow.
be
You're
here
right.
nor there.
Depending on the
even in things like being a restaurateur, which we learned during COVID. A lot of people, like I told you, I used to work in this industry. A lot of people went down bad, except for the people that got their PPP. But a lot of people went down bad because that's such not necessarily like a needed industry, like hospitality. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a necessity. So while you can make millions of dollars having a world-class restaurant and having all these locations, you can easily lose it if something happens. Something political can happen, something social can happen, something with the economy can happen. Like anything can happen, and you can be belly up a lot faster than obviously people who work in like healthcare or, you know, like you said, electricians, plumbers, people that like we always will need your services. So I totally agree.
Yeah, I'm not sure even where my industry falls into because I just switched industries a couple months ago from digital marketing and online work to insurance adjusting. So basically, I help handle auto claims for
Insurance companies
people.
will always need insurance
Yeah.
forever.
I don't know if insurance might be considered like pink collar or service industry.
It's kind of pink collar.
Some aspects of it would be blue collar, like maybe like the appraisals and doing estimates for damage and things like that. But it's not really a full on blue collar job. I think there's also a lot of jobs that don't neatly fall into blue collar or white collar.
You're right. The pink collars and the other ones, like the arts. If you are I don't know, you know what I'm saying, artistic things like Broadway or what we were saying earlier.
Yeah. Someone else mentioned
like
that.
People who do like the lighting in the theaters and these different kind of careers. It's like we don't know where they go.
I would say the white collar is like the fancy money versus the blue collar is like the low key money. You know, they say you can always make good money in the ugly industries or the unpopular industries. Like everybody knows like the stock guys and the tech CEOs and the investors and, you know, those got the wolves of Wall Street and all those people. Like that's like the pretty money, the sexy money. It's
the sexy
cool,
money. Yeah, I was
it's
gonna say
trendy,
the sexy money.
you know. And that's what I think the women kind of like, though it also could maybe be a sign of the times as well. I don't know if, you know, depending on the trends, a blue collar guy might ever be more kind of in style. Who knows?
So where do like social media people fall? We still haven't decided like where do people who make money on the internet, whether they're doing drop shipping, whether they're selling programs, whether they're selling meal prep, whether they're I know people making $1 million selling meal prep. So what about these social media, you know, influencers and athletes that do like online workouts and I don't know, you know what I mean? Like where do they fall? Because they're not white collar. They don't go into an office. They don't, but they do provide services, but like on the internet. So it's like, I don't know.
I would say influencers are leaning more towards white collar only because of the marketing and the social media and technology aspect. I know a bunch of influencers. I guess technically I'm a micro influencer on Twitter. I have like 20,000 followers. And I would say like if you're selling courses and people know you just from social media, you're leaning more towards white collar just because of the marketing and technology aspect.
Yes.
It's just kind of how you're leveraging it.
Good points.
Well,
Good points, Shameen.
Thank you for calling in. We're going to get to Thinking Man's podcast.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We always love to have you on.
Yes.
Call in next week.
See you next week. What up, Thinking Man?
Hi, Thinking
What's
Man.
going on, y'all? Can you hear me?
Yep.
No, I think it's cool. And, you know, it's kind of ironic that both of you guys are opposite each other. You have different thought processes on, you know, blue collar versus white collar. But I think both are definitely needed. You know, every woman is not going to be on one side, you know, and it doesn't make one right or wrong. It's just a matter of preference and choice.
Absolutely. And I don't even think we were like necessarily opposite about things. Kayla just has, and as she should, she has like preferences for things in terms of certain things status wise.
Don't do me like that. Damn.
But
There's
look,
nothing wrong with that. There's
It's
nothing
okay.
wrong with that. There's
Yeah,
nothing
it's
wrong with
okay
that.
to have preferences. It's okay to have preferences
Yeah.
because like the young lady that came up before, you know, if you ask a dude, does he want a chick that's 120 pounds versus somebody that's 160, it would be more than okay for, you know, the guys to say, I want somebody that's 120 pounds.
Absolutely.
But, you know, one of the things that I find, you know, I'm a business owner. I don't have a degree. I would be considered blue collar. I own a trucking company. You know, as you start to make more money, you become, you know, you make more income. I don't think blue collar or white collar actually matters. When you're a business owner, how you move in certain rooms does matter to a certain extent. But if you're an employee and you're the boss, it doesn't matter how you talk or any of that kind of stuff to a certain extent. Don't get me wrong, you can't be an asshole, obviously, you know, but the way you carry yourself in rooms and how you conduct business speaks loudly to your character. And I think that's what's more important than any of this stuff is your character, because,
Absolutely.
we do pretty well. And, you know, as I get into these rooms and continue to, you know, move up in the ranks and things of that nature, you know, you can paint the blue collar guy like the thug or whatever most people think the stereotypical, you know, whatever is. But then at the same time, you might sit in a boardroom meeting with a white collar asshole who doesn't care about humanity at all.
Exactly.
He doesn't consider anybody, he doesn't care about women. He thinks women are beneath him. He thinks black people are this or that, you know. And I've also come across people who are, you know, who graduated college, who are very intelligent. But then at the same time, I've come across people that have graduated college, but that's where their learning stopped. They no longer read. They're burnt out from what they've experienced in college. So they're not continuing to grow. So then you have people that have specific knowledge. And then when you're talking to them, they don't have anything other to say, you know, other than what they were trained to speak in. And that's what I was going to ask you, Kayla, you know, dealing with those guys that kind of fit that bill, because I find that I experience that, you know, as we move up in the business, they're not well-rounded. Now, they may, you know, be able to talk about stocks and dividends and bonds and cryptocurrency and inelastic and elastic goods and all that kind of stuff. And that's great. You learned all that in economics. But do you have any worldly experience? Can you relate to people? I find that most of these guys, they're so disconnected and in a bubble. Yeah, great. Millions of dollars. Nobody can relate to you. You're an asshole. That's what I find. That's my personal opinion. So I'm not saying that all white-collar guys are assholes, but I'm saying that a lot more attention needs to be placed on, because you know, I've been more around blue collar and white collar guys, and a lot of white collar guys are superficial. They're very, very self-absorbed. It's all about them and how they feel and how they look. They like, you know, they go to the gym. Great, good job. You go to the gym, but you get out of the gym. You're standing in the mirror. Your girl's over here taking selfies. He's taking selfies. He's taking a picture of you. He's taking a picture of him. You know, like so it's trade-offs on both sides. You know, it's trade-offs on both sides. But, you know, I would challenge you, Kayla, that, you know, like what's her boy's name in Love Jones? Lorenz Tate. Would you date Lorenz Tate? Because he was blue collar to a certain extent.
What was his job again?
He was like a writer, kind of book guy, artist. So he didn't make the income that, you know, most people think white collar guys make, but he was well-rounded. He was considered a Renaissance man. And I find that Renaissance men are more relatable to everybody. And it's those people that are making money that can be everything. Nobody's everything, but those people that are making money that can be relatable, but they also have the intelligence as well to put two and two together. That's been my experience. But most people have one and not the other.
I think the Renaissance man comment, yes, like that definitely gives me a different perspective because, yes, I mean, Lorenz was ambitious in that movie to me to a certain extent. So, like we were talking about with the young lady earlier, that or whoever it was
about the ambition.
About the ambition, that's just attractive. It doesn't, like, no matter what you do. That's why we're saying, like, hey, Kayla, you date a plumber, and it's just like for 23, yeah. If we're 35 and you're still just a general plumber, like, you don't want to do more, like, you don't want to have your own plumbing company, or
I have
I don't know, start an academy to teach plumbing, young plumbers coming up, the new technology. I don't know, like something, any kind of ambition.
But respectfully, I have friends that have the intelligence, have the ability, the ambition aspect of it. If they wanted to do it, they would. But I have male counterparts that are not like me. I go get it, I hustle, whatever you want to call it, ambitious, whatever. But there are some men, because one thing that ambitious men don't, get up here and talk about, you're gonna sacrifice time at home with your family. And that's what I think, we romanticize. Oh yeah, we get money, we do this and we do that, but you also are not at home a lot of the time. So, that's one of the things that I think that women don't necessarily, they romanticize, they see the Louis Vuitton purses and I don't, hey, here's a credit card, do whatever. You couldn't possibly even touch it, whatever I'm trying to, that kind of thing. But that also comes at a cost. And then another thing, as the business scales, my attention is going to wane because I'm being stretched thinner as the business scales. So my focus on you, my girlfriend, fiance, or my wife, significant other, whatever. I'm getting emails in the middle of the night. This broke down, that broke down. I got a problem solved. I can't even lay down in the bed, 2-3 hours, and I'm getting, so it's pros and cons to both. You know what I mean? And one of my buddies, he could be just as ambitious as I am, his father passed of cancer when he graduated college. And his father always said, we're going to spend time together. When you graduate, I'll be retiring and we'll spend time. So his father died like a year after he graduated college. So for most of his life, his father was always working. So that impacted my friend in a way. When he had children, he said, yeah, I could do that. I have the drive, the intelligence to be able to do that. But what I experienced in sacrificing, time with my father and losing him so early, now it's way more important. That dollar doesn't mean anything because my friend is a multimillionaire. But that dollar is not as important as the loss of his father.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a trade-off on both sides. You're going to lose some attentiveness from the ambitious guy. He's going to provide for you in a way where you don't have to worry, but I'm not going to say he's not going to. There is less likely of a chance that he's going to notice you change your hair. You see what I'm saying? His focus is going to be somewhere else on legacy,
because
moving the family forward,
until he reaches that like autopilot place, and that could take a good time.
If he's ambitious, there is no reaching of any place.
No. But what I mean, so is like where you can take time away. You know what I'm saying? Where like throughout the day, whatever, something happens, you can just leave.
Yeah.
And go, and like something happened with my wife, something happened with my daughter. I can just up and leave and go do and take care of it. So that's what I mean. So more so because as I've thought about it throughout the show, in certain white collar jobs, especially if you are like a doctor, a lawyer, work in healthcare, stuff like that, it's very demanding hours. Even thinking back to the nurse that I would, very demanding hours, like early in the morning and not getting home early in the morning, 5 a.m., not getting home until like 6 or 7. And it's just like tired, got to get up at 5 a.m. So I get that. I do get that. But because you have your earning potential, I feel like if you're investing your money correctly, then those years that you do need to really put into the kids, you can do that and then have it again on the back end when they're grown. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when they're teenagers, I mean, they're not trying to hang out with you, but after that, when they become adults, when you reconnect with them and they really want to know, like, how I'm doing this. Am I doing this adulting thing right? Like, at least for me and my mom, like we're a lot closer than we were when I was a teenager. When I was a teenager, I was like, girl.
Yeah, thinking man, you just said tomorrow is not promised. I mean, you know, people's preferences are what they are, but for me, the most important thing, you know, are a lot of those intangibles and just how is this person, like what is their character. So like you said, tomorrow's never promised. Like, I'm not always thinking about, I mean, of course you have to, you know, have some kind of goal or something that you're trying to do in life, because I think that just speaks to your character. But like, I don't know, just thinking about like the 20-year outlook in terms of like one career versus another one, I don't know. It's just, I think that can lead some people astray when they're trying to look for mates. I think that sometimes people think about certain things that aren't going to end up being the most important thing. Like you said, you could be making, you know, 6 figures, and I'm sure y'all know somebody. I know people where your husband makes a ton of money, but you're just lonely all the time and you wish they could be there. Like, fine, if you wanted to make that sacrifice of your husband making a bunch of money and you kind of just chilling out, you know, doing your own thing, cool. But then you can't complain about it or feel salty later. It's just like, you got to really think about, what do you want? What is important? Is it just money by any means? You know, like some very high earning potential ceiling, whatever thing, or is it something else? And that's how you have to make your decision.
I would challenge any woman's character if her main focus is money. Honestly, being honest.
I don't think money should be anyone's main focus.
No.
But I think a lot of times in these conversations, it is like, just in the conversation. Like, Kayla, we talked on another show about like internet things versus real life things.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why when we even first started this question, I was like, on paper, yeah, people are going to say, oh, the doctor or whatever. But I think in reality,
start bringing up all these examples.
Yeah, in reality, I think a lot of people do look at character and, you know, things like that.
I've done well. We've done well at my company. But you know, when I was a kid, I thought, you know, like, man, when I get all of this money, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. But I remember the memories more than I remember the amount of money that I spent. You know what I mean?
And that's what it's really about too, because there are men with money that don't know what to do with it, and they're still not cultured. They still don't know, you know what I mean? They spend their money going to the club, on bottles, on chains, and it's like, okay, you know what I mean? They have no idea about the different types of cheeses. They have no idea. But
look, people, but that's not and that kind of you know, attention to detail or interest in a multitude of things. That's why I was saying the Renaissance man, that is not about the collar. That's just about your level of intelligence and how intrigued you are with the world around you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So a doctor can just be a damn dumbass. Yeah. And just really do surgery really well. You know, like,
well, they're not going to ever be dumb, but
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what
they might not necessarily be like cultured and you know, well-rounded and all of this. Yeah. Of course.
You might meet a mechanic that, you know, because for example, I mess around with trucks, but I'm classically trained from a kid. I didn't go to college. Like, I'm all over the place. I've been in theater, ballets, all kinds of stuff.
Look at Kayla.
No, but I'm saying there are men. No, but I'm saying there are men out here that are like that.
Yeah.
But one of the things that you guys are expressing, and I always pump therapy. I go to therapy every other week. You know, so I'm gonna pump that. We got to normalize that.
Yes.
And one of the things that when talking with my therapist is that men are not. They're very limited in how they can communicate and how they can emote. So you're not going to see most men gravitating towards the arts because they're limited in the way that they express themselves. They only can express themselves one type of way. So then you see the guy, man, he's, LeBron James and this and that. And okay, well, what do you think about, you know, Beethoven? Do you like this concerto or do you think whatever? Then it's like, man, get your weekend, you know, like it's that. But it can be it can be daunting. Y'all got to give us some grace too, though. Just like we have to give y'all some grace, because
Okay.
men got to learn how to be able to emote. And then I think it's a lot of women that have to be able to better understand men as well. So
Yeah.
I'm
Good
feeling
point.
everything you've said tonight.
Yeah.
Good
Very
stuff.
good point.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling in.
all right, y'all be safe.
Thanks, you too. Come back next week.
Yeah, come back for sure.
Okay.
Wow.
This man started talking about Beethoven. I said yes. Yes, sir.
As
This is
soon
what
as
I'm
he
talking
said-
about. Yes, give me this, sir. Yes.
He's like classically trained theater, and you're like, oh, tell us more.
Yes, talk to me. He was talking about language. He was speaking like classical music terminology.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and he's a blue collar guy.
Right, he is trucking. See,
You just never know.
So I guess I should just take back what I'm saying and saying for me, it's more about the ambition and being that Renaissance man and wanting to know more about the world and what's around you and all of that. That's all that I care about.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously that you can provide for me, but you don't need to be doing like you can do the, I know young sir is making a lot more than 100 with his trucking company. I know, but 100, we can make that work. Like, like I genuinely believe that like, if a man has those things that we can make it work regardless, like whatever his profession.
Yep. It's all about that personality and those character traits,
Yes, ma'am.
That's an important part.
Yes, ma'am. It sure is. For sure.
Well, we are going to start wrapping this up.
I know. So what do you think? Like, who do you feel like, who was your favorite like caller tonight? I maybe Matt can't remember their name, but I can remember like, some jokes.
You know what? I think that the callers tonight were really good. They all made some really good points. Like everyone made a really good point. I can't pick a favorite necessarily.
Yeah.
I can't pick a favorite. They were all pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I got a little bit out of everybody, and even the criticism from certain people I got out of. Like, I understand where Just Jay was coming from, and I can receive that, So I think that like when we are in the space that people are open and people are talking to people with respect, like you can definitely get through and people can see your point and I can see theirs, even if it's different from mine. So I appreciate that. A lot of the callers that came on tonight, like even if you're against me, that's fine. Let me know, but just talk to me like
exactly. Like that man, I forget his name, but he said he needed to drink Everclear or something to
talk to you. I said, sir.
But he was very respectful.
Yeah. And he made it funny. And he made it light.
Yep. Very good energy.
He did. So stuff like that, like I appreciate. And I think everything, people have some great perspectives. So great topic. And I wish we could talk a little bit more about the supply chain.
I know.
It's just crazy.
Every time we started to try to, like, it kind of started to
get away from us. But with all the blue collar talk, like I wish I could have, we asked somebody about that supply chain because especially sir that does trucking. Because a few friends that I know that do trucking, like obviously things skyrocketed through the pandemic, but now that materials are slim, slim picking of materials is changing. Obviously they would love to continue to run at the capacity, but I just hope we recover soon from this pandemic because you know how Americans get when stuff start getting shortages and stuff. People just start overbuying stuff that they don't need, hoarding stuff.
They've already started putting restrictions on certain stuff, like the amount of stuff you can buy, like toilet paper at certain stores.
You're lying.
Nah, well, at least where I am. You can't.
No, I didn't know that. So I need to go buy me some toilet paper.
No, don't. I mean, well, maybe you're doing it.
Feed it into the.
So that was you. That was you in March 2020. Like, out.
You know what? It honestly wasn't. I was one of the people that didn't have toilet paper that was trying to get it. But when I did get it, then I did hoard it, but not crazily. You know what I mean? I just got like a few. I don't need my whole.
Yeah. It's like, come on, what y'all got to do with like 800 rolls of like why? But yeah, I definitely am noticing that some things are like, I was even trying to go to this, I was on this teacher website and you could order resources from there, like paper things. Yeah. And at the top, it was like, due to a national shortage of paper. And I was like, what? So yeah, it's real out here. Like stuff is definitely, I mean, I don't know. Stuff is definitely going to start happening. It's starting already in terms of the supply chain issue. And that's why
it's scaring me. Like what I'm honestly worried about is food. Like, and that's another reason why, like, I want to be with someone culture, because I want someone that wants to like learn how to grow food with me.
Oh yeah.
Like, and eventually have a house where we can grow some of our own food, where we live together for our family. You know what I mean? But I need somebody that's interested in doing something like that with me.
Yeah.
Like interested in like us being holistic with our family and like trying to take control back.
I think gardening and
food is a part of healthcare. The government doesn't make you think that, but food is a part of healthcare. And
it's like the main part.
Yeah. What you put in your body is why your body's going to do whatever it's going to do. So
yeah, I think that would be a fun thing to, do with someone, like learn together how to, farm, have a little small farm.
Vegetation and all the different things and soil, and it's a lot to learn. So, but when you're doing it with someone that you care about and you love and you're compatible with, it's fun. It's more fun. And then when the first thing grows, it's like, look what we did.
And you can bond
tomato.
You can bond over your first bell pepper that,
our first bell pepper.
Absolutely. That is, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, just things like that. So, but yeah, so I'm glad we did this tonight.
Me too.
For sure. So thank you guys. Like
we
had a lot of callers tonight, but we can handle more. So you guys call into the show.
Yeah, call in next week. Call in next week.
And
wait, one more thing.
Of course.
Just if I could just say one thing over again. I know I've been saying it.
What?
We gotta stop. I'm talking to everybody, with the stereotypes about people based on their jobs.
Yes.
You never know until you get to know a person. They could be white collar or blue collar. Just because they're white collar doesn't mean they're stuck up. Just because they're blue collar doesn't mean they're down to earth. Like, you just never know. It can be vice versa.
This is true. We should not stereotype. We should look at the person for who they are. And I think if we do that and we encourage that more, it'll help. Because remember when the guy came on and he said, I'm a exec and I understand what it's like to go to a party and just the conversations are different. But we kind of have to change, or at least speak up for those judgmental moments, because y'all don't know what that feels like until y'all go through that kind of embarrassment. But instead of being embarrassed, I don't know, trying to turn it around. And listen, this is harder than it sounds. So I'm not trying to act like I'm above anything, because this is definitely harder than it sounds. Like that pressure that you feel from people that you work with is a different experience when you're in that moment. But we should at least try to push back on it a little bit and like make our circles more open and encourage the people in those circles to be less judgmental.
Yeah.
So that we don't feel like, I can't bring him because he's not going to know what to say, or they're going to judge him dressed and instead of saying like, I'm going to take him and let them know
like, okay, cool. What do you do? Like,
right. And let them know that he is a great guy regardless, and that they should, you know what I mean? Check their asses if I need to, like whatever I need to do.
I'm talking about, Kayla.
So I do think that this show definitely changed my perspective. And I do think that we need to do that more to normalize like different people coming together. But I think that's just the statistically we'll settle with the same people in the community. So it's just like, but we still should fight for that. There be less judgment and more love, especially in our community.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that, Kayla.
I try to end it on a good note.
That was really good.
I know they still hate me, but I just do me.
They hate us, so
y'all gonna get it hot and ready.
All right, y'all. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for the love. Y'all. Thanks for calling in. We will see y'all next week.
Hello? Okay, that's over the Wi-Fi.